As the F-117 Nighthawk Stealth Fighter welcomes us to Road America, this event marks the 4th round in 5 weeks, and at times the circuits have looked more like battlefields.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. I love the way you walk, and I love the way you talk. When you walk that walk, and you talk that talk. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. How, 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 how.
It's the most European circuit in North America. It's the fastest road course of the year and the track the drivers call their personal favorite. Today, the legendary Road America at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin welcomes the teams and drivers of the American Le Mans Series for the Road America 500. To view the list of winners here at Road America is like reading the honor roll of motorsport. Today's only the 2nd visit here. To find out who'll add their names to this illustrious list, here's today's grid.
Hi, I'm Frank Bieler from Germany. I'm in car number 1, the Infineon US Audi, and my co-driver is Marco Werner.
Hello, my name's James Weaver. I'm Butch Leitzinger's teammate in one of Rob Dyson's Lola MGs, and I'm from south of Watford in England.
I say, I'm Johnny Herbert of car number 38, and I'm from South London in England, and I'm driving with JJ Leto, I believe.
Hi, I'm John Field from Dublin, Ohio. I'll be driving the number 37 MG Lola, and my co-driver will be the very fast Duncan Dayton.
In the prototype class, the LMP 675s continue to impress and surprise with their speed. Call it David versus Goliath or the little cars that could, but Intersport and Dyson Racing are taking their LMP 675 Lolas into battle against the best of the LMP 900 class. And the message from the 675s to their big brothers, we're coming for you.
Hi, I'm Chris Dyson from Poughkeepsie, New York, driver of the number 20 Dyson Racing MG Lola. My co-driver is Andy Wallace.
Hello, I'm David Salans, driving the Panos LMP 900 number 10 with Olivier Beretta. I'm coming from Brussels in Belgium.
Hi, I'm Gunnar Jeanette. I'm driving the number 11 JML Team Panos with Benjamin Leuenberger.
Hi, I'm Oliver Gavin from Northampton, England. I'm driving the car number 4 from Corvette Racing, and my teammate is Kelly Collins.
Hi, my name is Lukas Luhr. I'm from Germany. I live now in Monaco. I drive the number 23 McKenna Alex Joe Porsche, and my co-driver is Sascha Maassen.
We've talked a lot recently about Corvette versus Ferrari, but is that still relevant? The GTS title chase is fast boiling down to a straight fight between the two Corvette crews. America's sports car won 9 of 10 races last year and remains unbeaten in the American Le Mans Series this season. Ferrari needs to start winning now to stand any chance of the title. With more in GT, here's Andrew Marriott.
Yes, in the highly competitive GT class, it's very much Italy versus Germany, and flat 6 Porsche power has a definite advantage over the V8 prancing horses of Ferrari on the Road America straightaways. Porsche start 1, 2, 3 with the best Ferrari in 4th place. It's just a question of which Stuttgart Express will win, Lee.
Thanks, Andrew. Hello, everyone. Lee Diffie along with Bill Adam, and welcome to Road America for round 6 of the American Le Mans Series, the Road America 500. Well, Bill, whenever we come here, there's a lot of excitement, a lot of anticipation, people wondering what's going to happen across the 4 classes. Tell us the Porsche keys to this race.
Well, I think this particular track gives us a number of really interesting scenarios. And for the LMP 900, this is a thirsty racetrack. In other words, the drivers have their foot full throttle much longer than any other track they run this year, so they burn up a tremendous amount of fuel. And burning that fuel makes a durability problem for the smaller 675 class. They run a 2-liter turbo motors in the very quick cars. They develop tremendous heat going down these long straights. But that eventually breaks their engines down. Corvette, well, can they continue their shutout over Ferrari? The Ferrari team, particularly ProDrive, keeps getting oh so close, but haven't yet gained that final step on the podium. And GT, well, maybe we have a new pretender coming on, because finally Jörg Bergmeister, Timo Bernhard, they've gained confidence. They have a couple of wins this year, and they feel that they can actually challenge the existing champions, their teammates, Sasha Bass and Lucas Luhr.
When people say Road America, we think about Bratwurst, green surrounds. Tell us what we need to know about this fantastically high-speed circuit.
Yeah, truly amazing circuit. Between turns 14 and 1, between 3 and 5, and from 10 all the way down to 12, they are 180-mile-an-hour straights. Just incredibly fast straight. At the bottoms of each straight are very, very good braking and passing areas. And, of course, they're all shadowed by sand traps, so it's a good safe track. If you do make a mistake, you're not going to do a lot of damage.
We are working our way towards the start of the Road America 500, the Porsche aerial cam. You can see pit entry just off to the right there. We are gridding up. We are set for this 2-hour 45 race. You're live here on Speed Channel. Round 6 of the American Le Mans Series here at the legendary Road America. And we're underway, and the Dyson car gets the jump.
Yeah,
right away. Nice get-go.
You see the advantage of the light car. He is 500 pounds lighter than the Audi. That gives tremendous acceleration off the start. But up the inside of the champion car, look at one of the Panos has also got a really good start right there.
Both Panos in strong contention. The champion car with Johnny Herbert aboard chases the Infineon Yost Audi with Marco Werner. We ride with one of the Corvettes, the 3-car, Johnny O'Connell, Ron Fellows. And this car is going to be a tough one to beat today, but they were out-qualified by Oliver Gavin and Kelly Collins.
Yeah, similar to Mosport, Oliver Gavin has just been so quick in this car. He jumps into it, just is blindingly fast right off the start, but patience. We keep saying this over and over again. Ron Fellows, Johnny O'Connell, so experienced in these cars, they can just kind of sit back and not really worry. Don't worry about what's happening up ahead because you've got a couple of hours to go.
You can see the 20 car there, the second Dyson LMP 675. It got a late start. Andrew Marriott, tell us more.
Yes, indeed. Well, I'm just looking here at the telemetry. I'm going to just check in with James Weaver. James, the 20 car had a slow start. Do you know what the problem is?
Yes, it wouldn't start, but apparently it has now.
So it just wouldn't start, folks. James, what about your strategy here? You can do it in 2 stops?
Yeah, I think everybody can do it on 2 stops, no problem.
Set the Panos.
Oh, good. I didn't know that.
That's the case. So they're looking good here, and of course Butch made a fantastic start.
He did indeed. Meanwhile, Chris Dyson is weaving his way through the GT cars. A little bit of a hiccup there. Problems getting this car started, but Chris is underway now.
Yeah, Chris too is being very patient. Remember the last race, Chris started virtually dead last, came through to get a wonderful second place at the end of the race. So the patience does pay big dividends. See him just weaving through the slower GT traffic.
Back up front, and nothing has changed since the start, coming to complete the end of the first lap here at Road America. It's Butch Leitzinger, but look at Marco Werner. That 900 climbed nicely out of the corner and is drafting the smaller, lighter 675. 1 lap down, many to come.
One of the things that James Weaver and Butch Leitzinger were so worried about, they felt that this car would be a good car to lead with, but they said if they had to try and pass the Audis, it would be much, much more difficult. So they want to try and stay out front as long as they can. Werner, I think, he's a real fireball. I love watching this guy. He's become such a favorite of the crowd as well because he gives 100% every time he's out there. And he really is hounding Butch tight right now.
It's David Salins in the lead. Panos running 4th overall, 3rd in class. Then it's Gunnar Jeanette, John Field, the second best 675. Then it's Bucknam, Field, and that is Clint running in 8th. Then Ollie Gavin and Ron Fellows. And speaking of GTS, let's ride aboard.
The sound of the big 7-liter Chevy right there. That's looking out the back, watching one of the Pro Drive cars close up here. I believe that is the number 88 car. That's Peter Cox right directly behind. And then Jan Magnussen is just off his tail.
Guys, the number 3 car broke its transmission in this morning's short warm-up, and what that means is they've had to put in a replacement gearbox. The problem for them is it's got longer gearing, which it doesn't need with a 20-25 mile-an-hour headwind that they're driving up the hill and along the front straight, so they're going to be badly over-geared the whole race.
Well, you know, the one thing that may come through to help them, actually, even though they're going to lose some acceleration, because they're running lower revs, they should get slightly better fuel economy than the sister car. So maybe that'll help in the long run.
Information courtesy there of the Porsche Digital Pilot. Jan Magnussen 4th in this line and running 4th in GTS at the moment. Something new and something we'll have to see if it pays dividends today. The first time this year those Pro Drive Ferrari 550s are running traction control. They decided it was working well enough. They had it all together, and today they make that debut, so we'll see if it works for them.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting point, too, because I brought that up with Doug Feehan and a couple other guys in the Corvette team, and they said, what do you mean just trying traction control? They've had it all year. You've been able to hear it, so I think this is a real game going back and forth right now between these two teams, almost playing head games with each other.
Leitzinger has a half a second margin over Marco Werner, the man who has scored 2 pole positions this year. Biela got the pole earlier in the year in March at the 12 Hours of Sebring, but look how tight they are now. This is for the overall race lead. Leitzinger versus the Infineon Yost Audi. We've seen this before this year, haven't we? And then it's Johnny Herbert, sits third and sits a comfortable third. We ride with Johnny right now. And there is your overall top 6. The 900 class has given us some tremendous excitement this year, and today they'll give us more. Speed Channel's coverage of the Road America 500 is brought to you by Porsche, for the pure sport of driving. Welcome back to Road America. The chase continues. Marco Werner, whilst we're away, made no ground on Butch Leitzinger, but someone who is making ground and is just off to the left of that picture is David Salins. The Belgian in the Panos is now just 1.1 seconds behind Johnny Herbert, so there's a good scrap up front. 3 900s, and we've got a 675 leading the way.
Some of the aerial views here are so interesting, just showing the differences, the strengths of the various cars. And you see the 675 come off the corner. Because of that 500-pound weight advantage, it just squirts off the corner, accelerates very, very strongly. But coming into the corner, the Audis with slightly wider tires are able to brake better.
Let's bring you up to date with GT as we've now settled into a rhythm and the countdown clock begins. We ride aboard the Alex Job Porsche. And up front, it's Jörg Bergmeister who leads the way in the 24, and he just got by the 23 just moments ago. And this is a great team scrap, the 23 versus the 24.
Now this is down the end of the back straight. You see he got a great run, just pulled inside and a good clean pass. That's the sort of thing that is not going to give a team manager fits, because you can see both cars are far enough apart. You're not risking taking out your teammate.
For the past 2 rounds, we've seen one of these cars fail at an early stage in the race. The last race at Mossport, obviously the 23 had to make its way back and did so very well late in the race. Let's see if we can get a good head-to-head scrap for the entire race between these two guys.
I will be surprised if we don't have a scrap like that. You know, I look back at Three Rivers of a year ago. That maybe was one of the finest battles I've seen in the American Le Mans series, and it was between these two team cars.
Yes, those Alex Job Porsches have just rocketed away from the rest of the Porsches and the Ferraris. They are in a class of their own here. Absolutely fantastic. They will make 2 stops. At some of these races, the Porsches make only 1. Here it's 2.
Andrew, problems for the 24. That is Jörg Bergmeister. And whether he's got some broken suspension in the rear, he is crabbing across. Look at this, Bill. This is awkward stuff for Jörg.
Unbelievable. That just broke as he came off the corner. Look at the car. It's just kind of popping up in the air. Let's just watch a replay here. Comes into the corner, everything looking fairly normal at this point. But as he goes through the corner, just watch the, look at that left front wheel.
Whoa.
I mean, boy, and a great job here to avoid his teammate. He was expecting to come out full throttle onto the straight.
Lucas Luhr, you're riding with Lucas. Jörg Bergmeister up ahead. Lucas dives to the right to avoid contact.
I wonder, just by the speed bumps there, let's take a look here.
You're looking at the 24 Alex Job Porsche, Jörg Bergmeister in pit lane. Attention on the rear left. And I spoke too soon. I said, are we going to see a strong head-to-head fight, and problems already for the 24?
Yeah, the kiss of death.
While they work on this car, incidentally, the Ferrari of Ralph Kellernes has come to second in GT.
JJ, jack stand, safety stand. Need the big torque wrench, the hub puller.
Well,
big socket.
It sounds like they've got to change the rear axle.
The Ferrari team battle here, Peter Cox, Jan Magnussen. Cox has the upper hand at the moment. You're looking at 3rd and 4th in GTS. Andrew.
Yeah, well, the left rear wheel is off. They're working on this. Definitely some mangled suspension here. And yet again, one of the cars has a big problem. This is going to take quite a while.
Devastating for the 24, and it hasn't exactly been a trouble-free weekend. They had problems with their sequential gear shift, some transmission problems earlier in the weekend. So they've really had their Well, some bad luck coming their way after a couple of great results this year. Winning last week at Mosport, trying to do it again this week, but it is tough, and that's slipped away for them right now. And the sister car leads the way. Back to Andrew.
Yeah, I'm just leading in the door here, York Burmeister. What happened, York?
I don't know, actually. I see something broken in the left rear. The car was running really good up to that point, and suddenly, I had a big moment just in the last so now they're looking at trying to change it.
How long do you think it'll take? How long?
I don't know yet. They will have to see what it is exactly.
You must be so frustrated. You overtook Lucas. You must be frustrated.
Yeah, actually, I just managed to pass Lucas, and I was really happy with that pass. And I think we maybe had a little better race car for today. Yeah, but then something like that happens. That's really frustrating.
Well, thanks very much. A disappointing York Burmeister there.
Boy, and that is so frustrating for him. But what they have to do is try and get the car back in the race, because these long races, they can become so competitive that enough competition falls out. They are going to pick up some valuable points.
33 and 43, we're on board with the Hazardous Sports Porsche. And doing a wonderful job is Andy Lally. 5th in class, he's chasing the 43 of Peter Barron, the Orbit Porsche. Problems here for the 28. It runs a little wide.
Boy, he's got to be careful pulling right back on there not to get picked up by another car.
And that's Iraj Alexander who gathers it back up. The cycle Porsche goes by. And they have had a fairly eventful weekend too, the JMB Racing USA Ferraris. Let's have a look at the replay.
Okay, down at the bottom of the straight, I think he gets caught out by the Dyson car, pushed over onto that gray area with very little traction compared to the racing surface. That is a good piece of driving. He avoided the concrete wall.
And that was a lucky escape for Butch Leitzinger.
But then look at what's happening up ahead here.
Coming down into turn 5, the replay. Up above, yeah.
Boy, oh boy. Now keep an eye on the Audi just following Leitzinger. And just as they go through the corner, see if we can kind of watch. And does he get by?
Quick gather up there by Leitzinger, wasn't it? That reminded me of the incident at Sebring early this year when Brabham in the Bentley hit Johnny Mollem in the Porsche. New race leader, he has got by. Marco Werner now leads the way, and Butch Leitzinger's caught in traffic, so too Johnny Herbert.
Yeah, you can see Herbert right there beside the Ferrari. Now he is up beside... I didn't actually make it by, but Werner did a good job in recognizing a bit of distress for the Leitzinger car and was able to make that pass. There's Herbert now on the outside, so he will too drop in behind Leitzinger.
And David Salins, look at Salins, one way, then the other, switches outside, inside. David Salins is on a mission here at Road America, his very first visit to this circuit.
Yeah, all of the fellas in the Panos crew, they are so pumped up over the Salins and Beretta combination. They are just so fast in this car.
Word from the pits, there's a stop-and-go penalty coming Butch Leitzinger's way for that contact. Boy.
Wow.
And here is how he lost the lead. Bill, talk us through.
Well, right after that contact, this is down at the bottom of Hurry Downs. You can see the Yost car is getting in very, very good position. There's the flame out the exhaust pipe, and suddenly Werner dives down the inside. Leitzinger just simply biding his time. He didn't choose to battle him at that point. Wise move.
G. Werner's a cool customer.
Oh, he's so good.
He is a cool customer, and he's demonstrated that multiple times this year. He comes past the Hazardous Sports car, and look behind Andy Lally. Andy Lally's been hassled by the PK car. Salins on Herbert. Has he got through on the inside?
Herbert,
no.
He's past Leitzinger. Look at Salins now, too, going past him.
So I wonder if Butch has already been told that he's got that stop and go, but they're still racing nonetheless, flat out through the carousel.
God, Salins going around the outside of the carousel. What a brave attempt that was. Now, what's going on here?
Butch trying to come back on Johnny. Salins lining up for a go as well. Sensational start to the Road America 500.
The beauty of this track, the width of every single piece of the track, it is so good. You can have racing all the way around it. Unfortunately, some of the tracks we go to, like Three Rivers, there's certain areas where passing is virtually impossible, but here you can take a shot almost any place you are.
They get by Peter Barron and the Orbit Porsche. Nice quick work there. And Robin Liddell looks like he's got past Andy Lally. Now Herbert comes past the Peterson car. Has Butch come in?
Well, I think you just saw Herbert just take a look in that mirror right there. Look at him looking over. He's worried. Where is Salins? And he thinks he may get by.
And Salins has been caught up, has he? No, and Butch didn't come in for the stop-go, and Salins is lining up there as well. Look at this, one way or the other. Salins likes his chances going into turn 1.
Salins decided to drop back in line. Maybe we'll take a shot going down here into 2. Let's see if Leitzinger going to hold the middle of the track. No, he's alongside the Viper. This might give Salins another shot here. If the Viper blocks Leitzinger at all, then Salins should get a shot at the bottom of this straight. This is at the bottom of this back straight. It's 181 miles an hour for these cars. Look at David right underneath the wing of the car.
David Salins in that Panos, incidentally after the damage last weekend.
Guy, hit him!
Contact between Salins and Leitzinger. Down into turn 5, and Leitzinger scrapes the wall and comes to a
hit the wall
stop.
very hard out of the race.
I think he has broken.
Are you okay?
10-4, I'm okay. Where are you, Butch?
He is at the bottom of turn 5, and contact between David Salins. Perhaps the Belgian pushed it a little too hard.
Yeah, you know, I'm not sure. Here's a replay of what happened. Now look at David right there. It's suddenly, there's just that little tiny contact.
Well, Salins was coming across to the inside from the outside, and Butch was switching the other way.
And Butch may have braked a fraction earlier. Now we're going to get an aerial view. Now look at, there's Salins on the outside. Butch is going to come back across to his left, just about, and right, you know what? That's Salins. Butch was going in a dead straight line. That's just one of those contacts that happens on the racetrack. It's Salins' fault, but it's not really a deliberate shot. Just an unfortunate bit of timing there.
And look at James Weaver, Andy Wallace, the Dyson crew looking on in disbelief.
Yeah, I would say so.
And James Weaver, who qualified in sensational style yesterday, does not even to get in this car in the race today. What will happen to David Salins? We'll find out in the coming moments. Well, Brian, do you have more?
I'm down here with James Weaver. James, you just watched the entire thing on television. Your take?
I think they were racing very, very hard, and it was clearly a misunderstanding, and we obviously understood less than they did.
But horribly disappointing. You guys in this little car have run so well. You guys thought you had a chance at an overall win today, not just a class victory.
Yeah, it's definitely gone pear-shaped this afternoon.
Disappointment, obviously, here, Lee.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. You have to feel for them because they have had 6 consecutive class poles, a couple of overall poles, but it has not been converted for one way or the one reason or the other, whether it's been contact, electrical problems, whatever. And again, another situation where the 16 Dyson car will not be in the hunt today. We'll be back. Wisconsin, a lovely place to be this time of the year, and definitely no shortage of corn.
The Speed Channel Hotel right there.
Yeah.
That was your room, wasn't it? The tall one.
We get back to it. The Road America 500 continues. What an eventful start. This one has been full of fireworks right from the get-go. And Marco Werner, who was so patiently sitting behind Butch Leitzinger, and then all hell broke loose, he now enjoys a 3.1 second lead over Johnny Herbert as he comes past the JMB Ferrari. They're your top 2 right now. Here's your race leader, Marco Werner, the German, looking to convert this pole to another victory.
Well, it's something that I'm wondering about too, is that which of the teams will be playing a mileage game here. That one of the advantages of having a long track like Road America 4 miles, if a pace car comes out, your competition can be a long way ahead of you distance-wise. It can be 3 miles ahead, the other car, and suddenly you close back up, so it brings it all back in. If you can get through this race with 2 pit stops instead of 2 stops plus a splash, you would win the race. That'd be a terrific advantage. In the past, particularly Sebring, we've seen Champion dominate, but they fell apart at 3 Rivers. They were in before Yost.
Updating you on 675 and John Field, who has done a wonderful job this weekend with Duncan Dayton. And Duncan loves this racetrack. We'll talk more about that later when he has his stint in the car. The Junkyard Dog keeping the colour scheme of Trois Rivières onwards to Mossport and now, and they're having a very solid run this weekend. Hugh Chamberlain is here, incidentally, overseeing this because they have leased a lot of this car from Hugh Chamberlain. And Hugh's having a look and enjoying his time at Road America this weekend.
It sounds funny when you say lease a lot of it.
You know, Lee, it may not be pretty, but it certainly is effective. I just spoke with Brian Alder there, the team manager at Intersport. I asked him why they were backing up. Both Panoses got by, and maybe with a little foreshadowing, he said, they were racing so hard, we didn't want to get caught up with anything, so we let him go. What happened? They ended up catching up with Butch Leitzinger, and we know what happened there. The report from the Panos pit is that car is fine.
Well, I haven't had a chance to speak with John this weekend, John Field, that is, who we're watching, but I did hear the disappointing news that he's thinking about painting this car back to the old colours and getting rid of the junkyard dog.
Yeah, I like that.
Let's go to GTS, and class leader is number 4, Ollie Gavin. Set to go, and he has erased the bad memories of last weekend in Canada with that high-speed and quite scary crash. This is the number 3 car, and I don't mean numerically, but it's the 3rd car. It's the backup car, the T car, if you wish. They've swapped a lot of parts across onto this car, and we have lost one of the Vipers, one of the Car Sport Vipers, down at Canada Corner. Let's have a look at the replay of this incident.
Yeah, that is at the end of another one of the long, fast straights here. Probably just went a little too deep. We'll get a look here as he pulls him out of the sand. See how effective that is. Well, here's he's coming in, wiggling a little bit under braking, but just running out of talent at that point.
And that's Tom Weikart.
Yeah.
Comes to a pretty aggressive stop, but it is in the sand trap. Hometown team from Whitefish Bay, and that's not quite what Tom had in the plans.
Well, this is a really tough break for Tom and the Car Sport America team. This is only the first time this season they've had 2 cars at the racetrack. This is the car they've been racing all season. The second car ran a rear engine oil seal in the morning warm-up, and there are no spares. So that didn't even get onto the grid. It's tough when you're running 2 cars on such a tiny budget.
Well, it looks like they should be able to resume the race of this car because they're almost back. This point here is pretty good hard ground. They should be able to refire that car unless something broke. Now he's pointing forward. I think he wants to get this car unhooked so he can try to fire it and drive on out of there.
From 675 to GTS to let's bring you up to date with GT at the moment, and we ride with the number 23 McKenna Porsche. This is the Alex Job racing machine, Lucas Lure. We saw that exciting incident earlier, not so exciting though for your Bergmeister. Now sitting second in GT and a great start to the race, the Peterson White Lightning car of Craig Stanton. Meanwhile, we enjoy this view with Lucas Lure.
Yes, Lee, you're absolutely right. I was just going to say, Craig Stanton's had a terrific drive. That man that's so fit. He's come up from 5th place, just overtook the Ferrari a little while ago. Johnny Molam is down in the pit waiting. He's probably going to do a double stint. So Craig will probably bring it in after an hour, and then we'll have a double stint from Molam. And
Peter Cox has got by Ron Fellows. The Ferrari has the upper hand at the moment. Now Ron is in the middle of a pro-drive sandwich.
I wonder if that long gearing is hurting the Corvette just a little bit more than he really wants it to. The thing that will come to play, though, I think, to help Ronnie, will be fuel mileage. And again, his patience. Boy, he is the reigning champion. And oh, look at the difference of speed down the street here. That other Ferrari just pulling up on him. I think he's going to take a shot at. Not quite. That's off the back of the Corvette.
Now, in fact, if we look back again, Magnussen, who was running with Ron Fellows. Everyone thought that the Ferraris would have a drastic upper hand here with the long straights of Road America. It hasn't planned out that way in practice and qualifying. Will it be the way in the race? We will find out. It's Corvette Ferrari, even playing at the moment. Stay with us. Still so much racing coming here today on Speed. I'd like to remind you that after we are done here at Road America, ASA Racing from Erie at 5 p.m. Eastern, right here on Speed Channel. Stick around, plenty more to come today. Look what we have up front whilst we're away, and it's been happening while we're updating you on those other classes. Herbert is right with Werner, and meanwhile John Field came to a stop at Canada Corner and is in pit lane.
Yeah, another one of the cars going to visit the gravel trap at the end of the corner. Look at this, just barely gets that car off. And unfortunately, the low front end really acts like a snowplow, just scooping all kinds of stuff in the car. Watch from the Olive Garden as he goes into the corner, sliding just that little bit wide. One moment of lack of concentration, that's all it takes.
Brian.
Well, John Field indeed did did bring the car in, and there's a lot of gravel in this thing. Duncan Dayton is getting in it, a lot of dust, a lot of gravel. The thing about it is, where is the gravel? How much is up in the under tray? And the thing he's got to be very, very careful about when Duncan gets in this car on cold tires, when he goes into the first braking zone, if he gets on the brakes hard, it could dump a bunch of gravel on those tires. It could be a problem.
Well, I think that's a smart move on the part of the owner. Is if the car's full of a gravel trap and you don't know what's going to happen to it, give it to somebody else to drive.
Literally, when they put tires on this, they dropped the car back on the ground. Gravel fell out of the braking system, out of the rotors themselves, and is beginning to fill up the new wheel that was put on this car.
And when you're down, sometimes you get kicked, and that's what's happened to this team because the refueler did not have his goggles on, and they have been handed a 20-second penalty that they must serve once this stop is complete. So very, very costly turn of events for Intersport Racing whilst they were running so well at the top of the 675 field. Back on board with the number 3 Corvette, and he has been passed by Jan Magnussen. While we're away, word through from race officials that the number 4 Corvette, Ollie Gavin, has been black flagged for passing the 28 JMB Racing Ferrari under a local yellow. Let's have a look at how Ron Fellows lost that place to Jan Magnussen. Here's the replay.
Well, this is down at the bottom of the straight, at the back straight, I should say, and it looks like Magnussen just cleanly got by under a very late braking maneuver.
Guys, this is something we might expect to see during each new tyre phase in the race. The Corvette's Goodyear tyres are really hot from the word go. The Michelin tyres on the Ferraris can take 5 to 10 laps to really give maximum grip. So the ProDrive guys are telling their drivers, calm down, the yellow cars may be getting away, but as your tyres come back to you, then you will catch them. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And confirmation, they have told Ollie Gavin that his stop-and-go penalty needs to be served. Gary Pratt was arguing with IMSA officials. Gavin said, I was by him before we even caught sight of the yellow. IMSA say, well, that's not what we hear. Please come in and have your wrist slapped.
And while we're in the break, we did hear some radio communication with the team, and they were saying to Ollie, just settle down. We've got to get this out of the way. Come in, serve it, and let's get on with it. And speaking of Corvette racing, we're joined by 12 Hours of Sebring winner Frank Freon. Frank, great to see you. Bad news for one of your teammates there.
Yeah, I know. Well, it seems to be, we're under fire, the Corvette team, but we're not going to give up. It's going to be fine. But it's always a tight, competition with between the Ferrari and our Corvettes. And I think it's great racing, and it's good for the spectators. And we'll see. But it's a long race. We have to be patient. Our guys at the GM team knows that. They know that. And it's just the beginning of the day today, so just let's wait a bit.
How frustrating is that for you when you're in the car, when you've got the lead and you get an official call into the pit lane? What does that do to your concentration?
Well, sure, you're a little bit upset, that for sure. I'm pretty sure Ollie didn't see the flag, and it's it's quite easy to not see it, but I understand that the officials they do have to enforce the regulation. Because this way, it stays on track in a way. But I'm pretty sure he didn't see it because leading the class, it's so tight, you just don't want to have to pit and lose a lot of time. So basically, you back off a little bit and you just, you wait until you're clear to go. So it's frustrating, but I don't think it's going to change anything about the efficiency. Ollie is going to be back on the track and go for it and hopefully close the gap on the Ferrari and run.
Brian.
Here with John Field. John, it looked like you guys had a good race going, but something caught you out. What was it?
Well, they had pulled a car out of the gravel, and they had laid down gravel everywhere. And by the time I got into it, I was too late, and it just slid me in there. Luckily, I kept it going, and then it finally stalled. But I had to reset the fuel, and that's that. Then they had to get the driver in, there were stones in the seat belts and everything else they couldn't get out. So a bit of a setback. Hopefully let's come back.
Well, that certainly isn't going to be comfortable if Duncan is sitting on a bunch of rocks in the seat, but you should have seen that thing, guys. There were rocks all over it.
And with John Field's misfortune, Chris Dyson has come right from the back of the field and now leads 675, runs 6th overall. So the 16 car may be done, but the 20 Dyson 675 is far from done. Dyson is flying, and Andy Wallace is set to take over. Frank Freon sticking around. You stick around too. Welcome back to Road America. The Road America 500 continues. Round 6 of the American Le Mans Series for 2003. You're looking at race leader Marco Werner. The German is in cruise mode. He is going very well. Consistent lap times. No problem so far for the Infineon Joest Audi. But big news, whilst we're away, David Salins not only ran off track and put gravel everywhere, he has been penalised for taking Butch Leitzinger out of this race. A stop and go plus a 1-minute penalty. That's huge.
It is huge, and I'm not sure I agree with it. I think that was maybe an incident of racing. And Frank, you can maybe tell me about this too. Give me your impression. He's down at the bottom of the back straight. Watch right here. Look.
Yeah, it's a tough call. In any case, I think that even if it got pushed a bit, Butch was driving the 16.
Yes.
If it got pushed a little bit, I think 1 minute is way too tough.
And this is what just happened to David Salins, Canada corner. It's a common sight here at Road America. It's easy to run wide here, and Salins ran very wide and was lucky to get out of that gravel trap. Now he's been released from pit lane. Costly stuff.
Boy, that's a very costly penalty. And part of the problem that happens on a stop like this is because your brakes are so hot that you get so much of a heat sink that the heat is able to just go all through the car, something that hurts cars at pit stops.
Guys, Paul Ryan down here at JML Team Panos thinks that penalty is very, very strong. In addition to that, to add insult to injury, not only does he have to come in and stop, but they couldn't work on the car just then, and with the big off that he had, they're not sure it's okay. So Olivier Beretta is getting ready. Salins may go out, and if he feels anything strange with the car, he may have to come right back in and do a pit stop. If they do, Beretta will get in that Panos machine. But a huge, huge blow for this team.
Frank, as a driver, when you receive something like that, internally, how do you calm yourself down? How do you tell yourself everything's all right? We're still in this race. We got a penalty, but we can come back.
Well, I think that's a matter of experience. But you know, again, as I said, it's the very beginning of the race, and they might have like a lot of chances to catch up and get a good result out of today. So you stay patient, and you know what? It's the way it is. You have to just obey the orders.
Battle in GT, Peter Barron, we ride with him. He's chasing Ralph Kellner's. Up front, there's the Risi Competizione Ferrari, and Barron in the Orbit Porsche.
Peter Barron keeps improving all the time. I mean, I'm really impressed with how much he's learned over the last year. I think Le Mans this year, having such a good, strong run, he and Leo Hendry, he's doing a good job. Roger, the fellows in the crew, they're preparing this car very well. You see, he's pulling up strongly under braking just off the tail of Kellender's there.
Peter Barron comes from about 40 miles south of Milwaukee. This is his home track. He loves this place. He first came here in the mid-1970s to the June Sprints, and he said he can remember it as clear as yesterday.
The incentive of racing at home, right?
Yes.
Mark Lieb will take over this car when Peter Barron's done with his stint. Kellner's will hand over to Anthony Lazzaro. And Mark Lieb, for a first-timer here at Road America, being a European, racing on high-speed European circuits, he has taken to this track very well. Salins back in the pits. Beretta set to take over. Brian?
The 10 car rolls in. Beretta will get in. Obviously, there was an issue with this car when David went back out. As a matter of fact, if you look at the left front down here on the splitter, we can see some cracks on the left front down here. It's probably from the contact that he had with the 16 car. He's got a broken headlight and some cracks down along the splitter, so that may become an issue later with the high speed these cars run here. He's also missing a dive plane. Now they're going to affect the driver's change. It's difficult to do this anyway when you're calm. But guys, when you're mad, like I'm sure David Salins is, it's even harder.
I'm glad he doesn't have a computer screen down there, Brian. Lord knows what he do to that one. Brand new Michelin's going on. Not taking any chances with the tires having been ruined. And normally on a track like this, the Road America track is so smooth and in such good condition that the Michelin tires can easily be double stinted here. But don't take a chance. The car's in the pit, so put 4 new ones on.
Whilst we watch the Panos team, the JML team Panos go to work. Up front, Herbert's still with inside a second of Werner. Jeanette has been elevated to 3rd in class and overall. Look at this, Herbert chasing Marco Werner. Clint Field is now 4th in class and 4th overall. Chris Dyson continues to lead, 675. The 900 class is an exciting one at that. It's the premier class of the ALMS, and we've got 4 in the top 4. You're back with us here at Road America for the Road America 500. Lee Diffie with Bill Adams. Special guest Frank Freon from Corvette Racing with us here in the booth. Andrew Marriott, Martin Haven, and Brian Till down in pit lane. Whilst we're away, nothing changed up front. It's still Marco Werner, Johnny Herbert, Gunnar Jeanette, the top three. And the Brit here, we ride with Johnny Herbert, 3 times Formula One Grand Prix race winner. He continues the chase on the German. Whilst nothing has changed up front, it has in GT. We go to the Orbit Porsche car 43. You see a red Ferrari in the background, and that is Ralph Kellner's. Yes, Peter Barron has got up to 3rd in class.
Proving he's not only a great tennis player, but he's becoming a heck of a fine race car driver. Peter has just passed Ralph Kellner's, and we'll show you just how he got by him here. The Ferrari really is quite good here, other than horsepower, but the bottom of the back straight, the Porsche's strength, the horsepower down these long straights, down the middle of the track, and takes it at the slow corner at the bottom. Here's on board, just another view. See him drafting there, gets alongside. Nice little run here. Essentially, at this point, he's got it because Ralph can't turn in the corner until Peter makes his commitment.
One driver we commonly see in this car is Leo Hendry. Leo not running in the 43 today, but he is racing in the 42. There's 2 Orbit Porsches here this weekend with the Polocastros, the father and son combination. So Leo excited about running here at Road America. Frank, one thing we always hear it from the prototype drivers' point of view about what it's like to weave in and out of you guys, the GTS drivers in GT, but what's it like being a GTS driver and having to accommodate those high-speed prototypes whipping on by you?
Well, basically speed-wise, you're in between. You have to pass the GT cars, and you're gonna get passed by the prototype. So you have to be very, very careful. But you know, and you have to understand that either it's the GT class or prototype. Sometimes you just don't see the other car. You have a blind spot. You're busy. You're watching the flag. You're watching the gauges. You're listening to the radio, and you're fighting your car, trying to get a good result. So sometimes it's a close call, but we're helped by the Pratt & Miller team, and they have screens, and they try to guide us a bit through traffic.
Good.
And that's very convenient, and we are well organized on this side.
The ultimate spotters.
Yes, definitely. So it's comfortable. They can drink something and just have a look on the screen and talk to us.
A little glass of champagne as you go around. And yeah, right.
Champagne is after the race.
Brian
if we
Till.
win.
Guys, I'm here with David Salins. Dave, what a drive you had going, a dream drive, but it turned into a nightmare. And considering this is a family show, give us your point of view of what happened.
Well, as I think all the speed viewers saw, the start of the race was great. You know, we were 4 cars battling for the lead. Unfortunately, something went wrong, but I prefer not to say anything about it because I don't want to say any wrong things. I'm very unhappy about it, of course. But the car was handling like a lamb. You know, it did everything like that I would, and I could push it. Unfortunately, at the end, you know, after a stop and go, they were talking on the radio, and me, I was confused. And then I got out of concentration and went on the dirt part of the track. I didn't lose too much time. I just went through the gravel, but it's always unfortunate.
Well, they believe in this young driver down here at JML Team Panos. Not only is he fast, he's been driving since Infineon with broken ribs, guys. He's tough, too. Let's get down to Martin.
Yeah, I've just seen the Zara Kellner's car accelerate away. That was an early pit stop. The radio is not working, and apparently no grip at all. The team is very unhappy. Ralph Kellner, as we call him, Joey, sat in the cockpit while he was getting a new set of tyres, just shaking his head. So I think the Ferrari challenge, if it was there, is now gone.
And that has helped Robin Liddell and the PK Sport car up to 4th in class. They'll be delighted with that. You just saw a quick glimpse of the car sport car facing the wrong direction on the outside of turn 7, I think it was, might have been turn 8, and looking in trouble. Meanwhile, Kellner's back out on track and back at it. Plenty happening here amongst the 4 classes. And as we go to a commercial break, I want to update you just quickly that Oliver Gavin has served his stop and go and has moved from 1st in class further down the order to 4th. Peter Cox leads GTS. So that brings you up to date with the Corvette boys. Ferrari hold the upper hand there. Stay with us. We're just getting warmed up here at Road America. Welcome back to Road America. Plenty happening, especially later tonight right here on Speed, 9 p.m. Eastern. The Champ Car World Series continues from one of the best venues in the world, Montreal. It's always a great race up there. and Rocket Sports driver Alex Tagliani starts from the pole. Stick around for that as Marco Werner slicing his way by. The Alex Job Porsche, our race leader, has had a beautiful day in the sun so far here in Wisconsin. At the moment, he enjoys almost a 5-second lead over Johnny Herbert, who's been having some hassles in traffic. For Werner, it has been a faultless day so far. Frank Bieler, who should be called Frank Audi, who's been with them for so long, some 12 or 13 years. Frank is standing by. 675 class leader. Rather, Jeff Bucknam running second behind Chris Dyson. I'll correct myself there. Jeff Bucknam doing a wonderful job in the Dark Dog Pill Beam.
That is a good run for them because they're at a serious horsepower. Boy, look at him trying to get by. Howard Katz just before the king.
And speaking of 675, while Jeff Bucknam is pushing on, what about this guy? Chris Dyson, after the car failing to start initially, starting from the back of the pack, is now running third overall. And this has been a wonderful ride so far.
2 races in a row now they've done this. They've come from the back of the pack to win or at least lead the class. So I think pretty soon the crew are going to suggest that he maybe start like the solo time.
Yeah, it's good. It's good going. And of course he leads the 675 championship. Let's go to GTS land. And the 2 Ferraris hard at it. Look at this. Cox calls pit lane time. It's time to come on in. Yeah, and Magnussen continues. And right behind Magnussen, pushing hard, Ron Fellows not letting the Dane get out of his sights. So pressure time here for the Ferrari camp. The Pro Drive boys, time to go to work, and with this grueling schedule, they are tired. It's been a tough one. They do not have an American base. They've been leapfrogging from event to event, and the British Brigade are tired.
Very interesting, too, that both Ferraris are not coming in at the same time.
Andrew.
Yes, we got the first Ferrari pit stop here, and Peter Cox is going to climb out, and Thomas Enger will climb in. The check, there he goes, and the car looks in immaculate condition. No problems at all. The new set of Michelin is just about to go on. The windscreen is furiously cleaned, and for once it looks as if Ferrari really have got on top of the Corvettes, guys.
Yeah, it's going nicely. Trouble for the 3-car Ron Fellows. Out on circuit, running slower than normal. You can see Magnussen disappearing around the carousel.
Yeah, let's just listen to the engine for a second.
Let's find out more. We've got an item on tape.
Well, running right behind the other Ferrari there. We saw him go by the pits, and he's going straight through at the end of the straight. Now, there's no smoke off the...
Just an overshoot, simple overshoot.
Oh, listen. You know what? I was curious. There was no engine sound at all there. It was almost as if the gearbox hadn't gone into the lower gear.
Ferrari's still in pit lane. What's happening, Andrew Marriott?
Yeah, there's a bit of confusion down here, actually, and they've had a problem with the right front wheel, I believe. I'm just going around to see. And yes, indeed, that is exactly what it is. Problems with the right front wheel, and this is going to be time consuming. I can't see exactly what it is, but it's with the fix on the right front wheel, and well, we're expecting the 80 car in any moment, and lots of problems here then down the 88 car. Thomas Enger sitting at the wheel. Peter Cox, of course, got out after his first stint, and Thomas Enger, very professional, looking calm and cool despite this drama which is going on here in the 88 pit.
And look right behind you, Andrew. Look to your right. Here's the 80 car. That's how costly it has been for the 88. A full lap completed by Jan Magnussen while the 88 was in pit lane.
Yeah, this is not what they wanted to do, because now the 88 car will be blocking its teammate for a clean departure from the pits. The 3 car, even if it did have a little bit of trouble last lap, now leads the class once again.
Right behind is Duncan Dayton in the Intersport 675. Race leader in. Marco Werner is in.
Now Marco Werner and Johnny Herbert are here. So too is the number 4 Corvette, Ollie Gavin. Should hand over to Kelly Collins. They'll take new tyres on this Corvette as well. They will not double stint their rubber at any stage during the race. And again, they hope that the fresh Goodyears will allow them to pull a little further ahead.
Kelly Collins, who of course won the GTS category last year with Andy Pilgrim. Brian.
Down here in the champion pit, Johnny Herbert will stay in the car. It doesn't look like they'll put tires on this machine either. They checked rear pressure in the left rear. They're going to fuel it. He's down, he's gone, baby.
Good work from Champion.
They got the lead.
Is this the race they've been waiting for? Yes, it is.
Wait, it's stuck. It's in gear. Remember they had this problem last year at Sebring. They had to rock it back and forth, try and get it out of gear. They can't refire it, and that's what they're trying to do right now. He may have shut the car off without pulling everything back into neutral. There's a button on the steering wheel which gets this high-tech gearbox back into neutral. He may have shut it off without doing that, and that's the problem.
Finally, is this a chink in the Yost armor? Martin.
Well, they're trying to put on the external starter, but they must start the car under Le Mans rules with its own onboard starter. Now, they can use the external battery to give it an extra bit of oomph, but once it fires, they really need to shut it off, get it started again. I'm going to find out what I can from the team, but at the moment, they are struggling.
The 4 Corvette has been in and out. That has been serviced. Kelly Collins, last year's GTS winner here. He is there, and look, major problems for Yost.
Yep, this is it. They're trying to right now. They'll spray the fire extinguisher on the starter motor to try and freeze it. They want to take some of the heat off that starter, get it as cold as possible, so it has freer access.
The grill needs to be cleaned off when we're finished changing the tires.
That's the radio of the radio of the three. Just trying to listen. Johnny O'Connell getting ready to go in. You heard the crew chief talking about cleaning the grill. They want to make sure they're getting full airflow into that radiator.
Brian.
Well, they removed some grass and some rubber off the front of the radiator of the 3-car. O'Connell gets in, Fellows gets out. It looks like a routine stop down here. Definitely fueling it. They've got tires set up, but we don't know if they're going to be putting them on yet or not.
Well, now as they sit here in the pits, the Yost car is still motionless in their pit. Johnny Herbert will be well around his lap. There is a good possibility of lapping the Yost car as they sit motionless in the pits.
Change here too for the 20-car. Chris Dyson out, Andy Wallace in. Been a very productive opening stint. We're just shy of 1 hour down here at Road America. Brian.
Down here at the Dyson 20-car, Andy Wallace gets in, Chris Dyson gets out. Same thing for these guys. It'll be full fuel, but it looks like they'll also do tires. They've got the air wrenches ready at the rear of the car. As soon as they get that taken care of, they will have him down and away. Martin.
Guys, he is down. Gary Pratt was leaping up and down, but he's been held by IMSA officials because the man with the fire extinguisher did not have his visor down. Again, these small little details over the pit wall in a panic come back to bite you.
Yeah, we saw that with the Intersport car. They got penalized 20 seconds for the refueler not having his goggles on, and this is costly stuff for Yost.
Amazing. It looks like that Frank Biela now is inside the car, but they are still trying to fire it up. They sprayed the fire extinguisher on the starter to try and freeze and chill it as much as possible. Johnny Herbert continues to go around the track. He may put 2 laps on the Yost car.
He is already a lap up now as they stay motionless in pit lane, Yost that is. And finally, champion Audi breathe a sigh of relief and say, hey, some fortune is coming our way.
That's right. On board, let's just watch some of this Porsche telemetry. Fascinating speeds. Look at this going around the carousel. Well, having a little bit of a problem right there, actually.
Well, how crucial will this time in pit lane be to Frank Biela and Marco Werner? Here's the points coming into round 6. Lato 18 behind, Herbert 21 behind. It's tight. We've still got races to come this year.
Yeah, the most poor incident where Johnny just smacked the curb up at the top of the straight and as a result did not finish either second or potentially may have had a first was hugely damaging. This would help tremendously. The Yost car is still motionless. Johnny will go by him here in the pits. This will give them a 2-lap lead over that Infineon Yost Audi.
That is huge. That is huge. And I tell you who is in good shape to take over that second place overall is the 20 car of Andy Wallace for Dyson Racing. Olivier Beretta runs 4th, and Johnny O'Connell, lead car in GTS, runs 5th overall. Problems for the Infineon Yost team. Pressure cooker situation for them. Champion are in front. Fortune has swung their way. There's been bad luck, there's been errors, but today at Road America, it could be their day. Welcome back to Road America. We're just over the 1 hour mark in this 2 hour, 45-minute race, round 6 of the American Le Mans Series. And Johnny Herbert, an ADT champion Audi, go from strength to strength with a very comfortable lead, not only over the other prototype 900s, but second place overall, Andy Wallace as well. Let's have a look at some highlights from the first hour here at Road America. Problems for the 20 car of Chris Dyson. Pressure cooker stuff for them before the race even got underway. But what about the sister car? Butch Leitzinger, a dynamic start up against Marco Werner. He got the run. And then Chris Dyson did a wonderful job working his way through the GT cars from the back of the field, forcing the issue forward. We thought we were in for an engaging battle between Lucas Luhr, Jörg Bergmeister, and then this happened to Bergmeister at the front, coming on out of turn 14 on the front straight, and then pressure at the front. Marco Werner came past Butch Leitzinger. As easy as that. And then this. Leitzinger was out of the race. Contact between he and David Salins. Salins was penalised, a stop and go and a 1 minute sit in pit lane. Good scrap here at GTS. Peter Cox got past Ron Fellows. Meanwhile, the lead GTS car was penalised. Ollie Gavin for passing under a local yellow. John Field had an incident down in Canada Corner. And a tremendous scrap between Orbit Porsche and the Risi Ferrari. And a faultless pit stop by Champion. And quite an eventful pit stop for Yost. It kept them in pit lane for a long, long time. And they are still there right now. Hour 1 down. There's plenty more to come here at Road America. Your race leader, Johnny Herbert, teammate, co-driver, JJ Lehto standing by. And in that fight for 900 honours, this is what Champion would like to see. Oh, boy. Martin.
Well, guys, they're just about to start undoing the old red-hot starter motor and put the new one in. Now, what I don't understand, and I have to ask somebody a little bit more technically minded, if they can change the entire rear end at Le Mans in under 7 minutes, why are they changing a starter motor? Why haven't they just taken the whole rear end off and put a new one on? I'll find out for you and get back.
Well, you know, maybe one of those things that they weren't even thinking about doing that, because the original rear end change was designed an area spray in the fire extinguisher again, so they're not actually changing it. They might be doing that to get better access. Maybe pulling some of the underbody panels off to get a better shot at it. You spray that cold air and fluid onto it to try and shrink the hot pieces.
That Yost mechanic has an unenviable job right now. Back to race leader. Incidentally, just wanted to correct earlier, I mentioned that Johnny O'Connell was the lead GTS car. I apologise for that. Is it in fact the Ferrari that's going well? David Brabham, the 80 car, is the lead car in GTS. Herbert whips his way through the field. And so far, despite getting caught up in some traffic from time to time, it's been a smooth, clear run for Johnny Herbert.
Well, the guys in the Champion ADT crew must be looking at each other going, this can't really be happening. We're finally the benefactors of some good luck coming our way. There's just a quick simple off. I don't see any damage on the car at all. It looks like he's just kind of slowly making his way back on.
Second of the JMB Racing USA Ferraris, the 29 machine of Phil Shearer and Peter Kuderman.
Yeah, nice bit of driving there too, Peter. He took his time crossing over the track, didn't want to get in anybody's way. And you can see the 37 got cleanly by. That's pretty heads up. GT leader going by right there as well.
Oh, look at this. The fork. And that is Kelly Collins has beached it.
Oh, my.
And that's on the outside of turn 14.
Almost 2 gears.
You're hearing transmission from the 4 Cars radio.
Copy that, Gary.
Well, they're going to have to get something over there to tow him out. Oh, don't even try it, Kelly. You're just going to dig yourself in.
Boy, oh boy. What an eventful 2 weeks for these guys. Last weekend, a very fast and frightening crash for Oliver Gavin. And this for Kelly Collins here at Road America. Hard to tell. We just
Boy,
saw the tail end. What do you make of that, Bill? Full course yellow.
Yeah, because they'll have to draw that car out of there. He's just sitting in a dangerous place. So Kelly will just stay put for now, and hopefully. The only thing I worry about is when you saw him go in there, the left front corner seemed to take a really hard shot. It was slowing the car down, but up around here, I mean, I don't see any signs of damage. So these cars are built so strong. So maybe if they can pull him back out, he'll be fine.
Well, while we go under full course caution for the first time here today at Elkhart Lake, we will take the opportunity to duck away, have a quick break. Good time to grab a drink or whatever you need to do. We're under caution here. We'll take a short moment and be back. You're back with us live here on Speed Channel, and the view that all Corvette fans do not enjoy, seeing one of their cars beach. Finally, the Infineon Yost Audi has been released from pit lane, but they have been in there for a long, long time and have slid down the timing monitor. Costly stuff. Driver change performed. That was done earlier, and now they are some 7 laps down. Just as we were in for a good battle there between those two guys. The 4 car, Kelly Collins, has been dragged.
I need the windshield clean.
That's a good sign. You hear him saying he needs the windshield clean, so apparently the car is okay. Look at the dust. Kelly is...
So he's been retrieved cleanly. Will return to the pits for some much-needed attention.
He missed the pits.
He did miss the pits.
He couldn't even see them.
Well, maybe it was a late decision to decide not to go.
Boy, Kelly, get away from that wall.
And he's doing the right thing. They're staying right over. Oh, actually, yeah, of course, the pits are closed. Of course. So, look at the amount of stones in the front there. Time for another quick break. We'll return, and we're getting closer to going back to green flag racing. It's the weekend, and that means Speed News. And it's Sunday, which means NASCAR edition of Speed News, right up at the top at 7:30 Speed News regular, and half an hour after that, NASCAR Victory Lane. Ralph Shaheen and Steve Burns will bring you Speed News tonight, NASCAR edition at 7 and regular at 7:30. Those times, of course, tonight Eastern. We welcome you back to Road America. The Road America 500 pits are open, as you can see, and our race-leading car is in. Pretty sure we'll see a driver change executed here. JJ Leto standing by. Johnny Herbert, a faultless opening stint. Wonderful stuff, and their first pit stop was perfect. And Leto is standing by. Brian.
Well, Herbert comes to a stop. He's almost out of the car before the car stopped. Leto will get in. And the reason why they're coming in now, it's early, but under yellow, they're going to go ahead and fill this thing with fuel. Mike Peters said, make sure it's full. Leave the hose in for a while. Make sure it's full. Their fuel strategy has changed. Why? The silver #1 car. Lee?
Andrew?
Yeah, well, we've got the 23, the lead GT car. He had a 46-second lead when he came in over Craig Stanton, and Lucas Luhr has just got out of the car. He's strapping in Sasha Masson, the most experienced of these Porsche drivers. Everything looks calm down here. However, the 24 car made another unscheduled stop with brake problems. So it's good news and bad news down here at McKenna Porsche.
Certainly is. Mixed feelings down there for sure, because that has huge implications championship-wise, and the strength swinging toward the way of the more experienced combination of Masson and Luhr. Thankfully, Kelly Collins finally made it back to pit lane in the 4.
Yeah, guys, he's killed it not, but the car was so full of gravel, he's still throwing it out. And unfortunately, as he was down there, the 3 car came in, knocked Gary Pratt off his feet as well.
Johnny,
Andrew.
when you get down there, check his radio. Okay, he's got it. Radio's good. Drop the car.
Yeah, no problems with the 23 car. It has accelerated back down the pit lane, still in the lead. But I'm still waiting to see if Craig Stanton has come in to actually hand over to Johnny Molan. They are getting some great gas mileage. If they can go another 2 or 3 minutes, they'll be able to do this on just one stop.
Well, speaking of the Alex Job team, the success that team has enjoyed, combined with their relationship with the Porsche factory, which sees the Florida operation testing and getting first access to any new Porsche parts, as well as getting paid drivers from the Porsche factory, has caused the American Le Mans Series to remove Job's privateer status. Now, we've spoken about this a lot, particularly over the past 2 events, where we finally went to some people and got some answers. The team and Porsche have accepted the series decision. However, Porsche insists because Job gets no direct financial support, the team should still be listed as a privateer.
Like here, the American Le Mans is a perfect testing ground for us, and we choose one team. We always had it, you know, Germany did it. Here in the States, we have it now since the year 2000, first with Dick Barber, and since 2001 with Alex Job. And for us, it is important that, again, and I repeat myself, that we do the testing on the components after we evaluate them, and then we produce them and give them to the customers worldwide. I would like to just say that Alex Job is not really a factory-supported team. He's a factory-supported private team.
No matter what name you hang on the Job team, their cozy relationship with the Stuttgart factory has caused series organizers to change their status to a factory team while redefining the privateer rules to prevent any future confusion.
The situation that's been created with the advancement of the Alex Job team to such a high level, such that it is now truly a factory team, is requiring the American Le Mans Series, and through IMSA, the sanctioning body for the series, to define very succinctly what constitutes a factory effort and what constitutes a privateer effort.
Semantics and politics aside, the bottom line for everyone involved is money.
If it was the Alex Job team first and second and the Racers Group third, the Racers Group is truly, receiving third place money. In the case now, if Alex Job's team places first and second, first place prize money goes to the Kevin Buckler Racers Group team. So from that perspective, this is a big change. And you multiply that over a course of 10 race season, it's a really big change.
That's been a topic causing a lot of conversation of late, and hopefully that has shed some light on it for you. We ride with one of the Alex Job Porsches, the 23 machine. We're going to take a short break, come back, and hopefully go green. Big agricultural district up here, of course, in Wisconsin. Some beautiful farmland and some scenery, and not quite sure they're so interested in the American Le Mans Series, but we are. And the Road America 500 continues. And we're gradually working our way back toward green. It's been a lengthy caution. Everyone's settled down, performed the duties they have needed to. And at the moment, all of the strength for the overall lead is with the ADT champion Audi. Let's get it down to the pits. Martin is with Ollie Gavin.
Ollie Gavin, madness. That's my impression of the first hour and a bit.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. We've had a lot of incident on this car. The Compuway Chevrolet Corvette has been handling fantastically all the way through the race. But unfortunately, we had a little bit of a problem with one of the officials, and we got caught out by a green flag. Supposedly I passed just before a green flag. I don't think I did, but they said I got it on tape. So anyway, we'll argue about that later. And then Kelly had a problem coming into the last turn. When he went to shift down gears, he got 2 gears instead of 1. Spun him out, and now we're a little way back.
Well, Ronnie and Johnny and the other Corvette have had their problems. Seems like almost nobody's had a clean run. I guess you hope that you've got your bad luck out of the way.
Well, let's hope so. I mean, it's just seems like everybody's having some problems. It's just an incident-packed race. Great for the TV and great for all the fans here, but we'd like to have a really nice, clean race from now onwards.
Oh. Yeah, I think we all would as well, guys. It's starting to get really crazy.
This is absolute craziness. Going down into turn 5, they're almost 5 wide going down the back straight.
You would not believe the traffic, Martin. Down the back straight, it was like just total madness. And I'm watching up ahead. JJ Leto is being very, very cautious. Doesn't want to take a chance on contacting the Panos, who he's just about right alongside. And they're both trying to weave their way through a bunch of the slower GT cars right now.
And in fact, Olivier Beretta was behind Leto. Beretta got around Leto and is now driving away from him. So Beretta doing a wonderful job in the 10 car. We saw Salins was dynamic earlier, but that penalty was quite costly. And speaking of Leto, let's hear now from his teammate.
Yeah, I've got Johnny Herbert. He's watching some great television coverage.
Yeah, we are.
Now, you had a very good first stint, and it's going your way for once.
Yeah, which is nice. You know, at the beginning of the race, it was good. I went straight onto the lead map, I think on the second lap, and kept it there. And then, obviously, once we got past James, and then with the way the traffic played in sometimes, I sort of just put it back just to sort of catch him a bit and then switched it back again. And we're just trying to conserve as much as we possibly could, because obviously it's a long lap here, and we're trying to do it in 2 stops as it was without, obviously, the caution. So at the moment, the car's good, we're very happy. Now we've just got to concentrate on the rest of the race, so it's not over yet.
Will you go back in the car, or is your job done for the day?
Unfortunately, my job is done for the day.
Collect the check.
Exactly.
Well, that is to bring the viewers up to date. You heard him talk about a lean map. On board the Audi, just in this part of the car here, there's a switch that can be dialed up by the driver, changing the program on the computer. What they will do is they'll carefully monitor fuel mileage in practice and then dial it back either 2% or 5%. Not enough to risk damaging the motors, but just to get those few extra cc's of fuel every single lap.
Here is the 88 car, Thomas the Czech, Thomas Enger on board, and Thomas is down in 5th in class. That time in the pits was very costly, and just looking at the timing monitor scroll through, I think they've lost about 2 laps to the sister car, and here is the sister car with David Brabham on board. What an eventful year it's been for David after leaving Panos at the end of last year, and then wondering what this year held in store. Being the Bentley driver at Sebring and Le Mans was truly a high point for him, and then to land this drive, he's driving with Rowan Skay at the FIA GT Championship, and he's just been signed to Dick Johnson Racing to do the V8 Supercar Bathurst 1000 later this year. So a busy year for David Brabham.
And busy boy in the cockpit as well, guys, trying to keep the fuel consumption down. And they've also been experiencing higher than they expected tyre wear. Now, they did change the Michelin tyres on the last stop, so they are pretty confident with the way that they are at the moment. Incidentally, it was a jammed wheel bolt on the 88 car that cost Cox and Enger so much time in their pit stop as well, nearly a whole lap.
Hey, Martin, I'd be interested to hear what the Ferrari guys are saying about the traction control. Is it making that much of a difference in this race?
Personally, I wouldn't think so on a quick track like this.
Fans enjoying some sunshine and the racing here. One of North America's legendary circuits. Plenty more to come from the ALMS. Speed Channel's coverage of the Road America 500 is brought to you by BMW. Visit your local BMW centre for a test drive. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. And by the United States Army, an army of one. We continue with a beautiful shot high above the Road America circuit. We ride now with our GT class leader. It is Sasha Masson, the most successful driver as far as wins in the history of the American Le Mans series. And that's not just in GT, that's outright. This guy is something special. The German who lives in Belgium. Lucas Luhr had a very solid opening stint, and now Sasha will take it through to the flag. Whoa, a little bit of contact there with Franz Conrad Saleen, and I think that's Wolfgang Kaufmann in there at the moment.
I think you're right. This is a remarkable stat. 34 American Le Mans wins by Porsche. Boy.
They enjoy racing in this series, and why not when you're that successful? And the 911 is such a mighty car. And that's really taken the fight, made the fight hard for Ferrari this year. Albeit Ricci have had 3 podium finishes. They've been very strong as we go in deeper into this 2003 American Le Mans series. Speaking of GT, there's been some tremendous performances. Look at this one here. The middle car here is the Peterson White Lightning car returning after missing the last 2 rounds. It was never in their budget or their plan this year to do the 2 Canadian races, but they come back, and Michael Peterson, the team owner, along with Dale White and Johnny Molam, Craig Stanton, they come. Oh no, the Orbit car's gone. That's the 3rd place GT car, and it looks like the day is done.
Well,
wow, what a shame. The Orbit car was heading for another GT podium. What has happened?
I think he's coasting. You're right. He's talking.
Peter Barron communicating on the radio. And let's see if this replay tells us more what happened to the Orbit Porsche.
It just sounds like he's lost all drive off that corner. Oh, man, what a heartbreak. They were doing so well. Thanks, Leo. Well, maybe Leo picked the right car today.
We ride now with the number 33 Hazardous Sports car. This is a battle right going on now, hard. And they get past the 60 car. This is Spencer Pumpelly on board. And Johnny Molam is in the Peterson White Lightning car. There's been a tremendous scrap for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th right from the beginning in this GT class battle here at Road America today. The race leading car in GT is on pit road. Masson brings in the Alex Job Porsche.
I wonder if he's coming in maybe to get that right front wheel checked where he had contact just the previous lap with the Celine S7, just to make sure the tire is okay.
Before. Stop. I have no response on the downshift.
He too having gearbox problems on the 23 car. That is Sasha talking right there, you heard.
Does the lever move? It moves, but it doesn't shift.
So the gear lever is...
Probably broken cable or linkage, something like that, you think, maybe? The lever moves much easier than normal. Please repeat. Does the lever move easier than normal? Yes, much easier.
Now listen to the RPM as well. He is stuck in 5th gear right now, we're getting reports of. He is unable to get out of that gear, and that's why he's barely accelerating right there.
And it is not the first time this weekend that the Alex Job Porsches have experienced transmission problem. The 24 car had it earlier in the weekend. As a precautionary measure, they changed both gearboxes for the 24 and the 23, and now it has struck the 23 in the race. That hands the class lead over to the Peterson White Lightning car. The team that they combined with, that Alex Job Racing combined with to win the Le Mans 24-hour this year. Johnny Molam now takes over the class lead. Masson has been relegated to 2nd. And the PK Sport car, although it is a lap down on these guys, is running 3rd.
And you'll see Sasha duck in the pits this lap, that even though the speed's accurate, you're seeing there 147 miles an hour, the loss of acceleration off the corners makes it impossible to continue.
Well, what a glorious return for Peterson White Lightning. And let's go down to their pit. Andrew Marriott is there.
I'm there, and Craig Stanton's got a very big smile on his face. You had a super first stint, Craig.
I couldn't hear that, but I think we're in position 1 right now. We're really excited about it. Somebody asked us the other day, does it matter if we kind of come and go to some of these races? And this team has so much depth and so many resources that, we can run up front. Johnny's out in the car right now. He's got a good lead going. He is one of the most passionate, hard chargers going, and I'm really excited to be his teammate. I want to thank Speed, all the friends, family, fans that are here today.
Yeah, he does it, doesn't he? He goes for it. Well done, Craig, and a super stint from you.
Thank you very much.
Well, this team hasn't competed in all of the rounds so far, but when they compete, Bill, they are competitive, that's for sure. Aside from their win, combined with Alex Job at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Look at this, 2nd at Sebring, they drove very well and pushed Job hard there. Didn't start at Road Atlanta, didn't start at Trois-Rivières or Mosport. I mentioned that earlier, but 5th at Sears Point. They have been very competitive, they're very strong, and they've got some tricks up their sleeve as well. They have one of those sequential gearboxes ready to put in this car, but after seeing Job's problems, maybe they won't.
You know, I mean, it's true that the sequential box helps in a number of areas, and not the least important of which is cutting down driver errors. But if you've got a couple of experienced drivers, through the old tried-and-true gearbox, they're virtually bulletproof.
And Johnny Mollem and Craig Stanton combined beautifully with Nick Johnson at that 12 Hours of Sebring. And you can see the car, the orange Porsche right behind. That's Andy Lally, Spencer Pumpelly and Steve Ivankovic in the Hazardous Sports Zip Racing. I found out actually the story behind Zip Racing. Whoa!
Wow, boy, he
Spencer
just about
gets it sideways.
He almost unzipped right there.
Apparently Zip Racing just comes from Steve Ivankovic's nickname, which was Zippy.
Zip.
So they call it Zip Racing. So the orange machine we ride with is 3rd in class, but is a lap down on that Peterson White Lightning car. A good day for Johnny Mollem and Craig Stanton. We'll be back. Tomorrow night and every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, you can join the boys for everything on Inside Winston Cup Racing right here on Speed Channel. Meanwhile, this fascinating battle in GTS, you're looking at David Brabham as we ride with Johnny O'Connell. There is nothing in it. This is for the class lead in GTS, Ferrari versus Corvette.
This is excellent right now. Johnny seems to be able to close up under braking and turning into corners. Look at this here. They go through David Brabham driving that Ferrari so smoothly as well. Now the car will get a little light up underneath the bridge and over the crest of this hill. Just a tiny bit light right there. Heavy braking, then onto the front straight one more time. So here's how the V12 Ferrari and the V8 Corvette compares. They go up the front straight, uphill.
Now, about 3 years ago, if you'd said to Johnny O or David Brabham, well, in 3 years' time, guys, you're going to be battling it out in GTS, and David, you'll be in a Ferrari, and Johnny, you'll be in a Corvette. This is when they were at Panos together. I don't think they'd believe you.
No, they just smiled about it, but I'll bet you they're both having fun right now. Look at the end of the straight. This Corvette, boy, it continues to impress me. It is so good on high-speed corners. Just remarkable downforce. They've worked so hard at making this, because they learned a lesson when they battled the Saleen F7. They were all saying how the Saleen had substantially greater entry speed available to it, and they wanted to keep working on the Corvette aero package to give it greater downforce. This runs a lot less horsepower than last year, but is still doing faster lap times because of the clean aero shapes and the downforce.
Naturally, these two cars and teams hog a lot of the limelight. We should give credit to the Olive Garden car. It is running 3rd in class. That is the Olive Garden Ferrari for Gabriele Raffinelli, and Mimo Schiatarella is driving that car. Meanwhile, Johnny O'Connell is not letting David Brabham get away. O'Connell was saying that he was kind of a little bit disappointed after last week's crash by Oliver Gavin, his teammate. He was glad that Ollie was okay, but Johnny wanted to get his hands on that spare car because he didn't feel that their car, this one here, was running as well as it could be, and they wanted to experiment with the spare one, but not to be. Andrew.
Yeah, I got Jan Magnussen with me, looking pretty cool. Jan, you had a very good stint. You must be happy with the way it's going today.
Absolutely. The stint went really well. Couldn't find a way past Peter, but and I wasn't going to take a chance that would result in us both going off. So I just waited for the pit stop. Had a good in-lap. Had a problem in the pits. We got out ahead. So actually, right after that, we had a big lead. Then because of the yellow, it's now back down to nothing. But the car is running really well and it's looking good.
Yeah, and you've only been in this car this is about 3 races in. You must have been pleased to pick up this contract. You really enjoyed the car.
Absolutely. No, it's just right about now that we're starting to know the car really well. So we can get the best of it. We've had good shots at trying to take the win, but we've been unlucky with yellows. And,
well, thanks very much, Jan. The smiling Dane there.
He's done a nice job too as O'Connell comes past the Asemco Ferrari. Terry Borchella, Shane Lewis, They are currently running a little further down in GT and still developing that Ferrari 360.
Johnny's so good to watch that in-car footage there. He's so precise in car placement, just dropping the front wheels over the curb a little bit on every corner, just gaining a few extra inches of track out and track in position on those corners, but very consistent.
We go on board the Olive Garden Ferrari. We were mentioning this just a minute ago. What a great drive, considering just a week ago this car was smashed to smithereens and the team had to work incredibly hard last week in Canada just to make the race and then pack up the truck, boys. We're going at it again, down to Road America, and they're running third in class. Great effort by Emanuele Naspetti and Mimo Schiattarella.
Yeah, just listen to the different sound. A second ago we were in the Corvette, so just listen to the Ferrari V12 for a moment.
Martin.
Gabriele Raffinelli, you usually frown when you see us coming because it means bad news, but at the moment your weekend's going pretty well.
Yes, it is. I think we are at third position. We only have the Saleen for 20 seconds, but I'm not to worry behind. And we have the others 2 cars at two laps, so it should be good. If we keep the pace well without any problem, we should be somewhere.
Now, we saw last week the car took a really heavy hit, and it's still not straight, is it?
Yeah, I think who knows? It could be better. Thank you. We'll try very hard.
The team
they've been working pretty hard on this, haven't they?
Yes, they have. I think the car is good. We cannot pretend more, but I think we will have something new for Laguna. Let's see where we are. I think we are doing pretty good.
Well, guys, Raffinelli's got his customary smile back. And of course, one of his young 3000 drivers from a few years ago won his first Grand Prix this morning. Well, they have been working really, really tough. I tell you, if they wreck this car, they've got a box of Band-Aids left to fix it. That's it.
Yeah, boy, they did work so hard last week, and I think just see a little bit of hood flap right there. That's so rewarding for drivers and crew alike when you go through that sort of adversity, get the car back on the track, start last on the grid, and bring it up to a podium finish. That is as good as a win. I mean, it's a wonderful thing where all of them can share at night, and they're dog-tired, but you share that victory.
And here we go. This car, Franz Conrad, the Saleen is pushing hard, currently 4th in class, and trying to catch that Olive Garden Ferrari. You heard Gabriele there mention that he knows that they are coming. They're keeping a watchful eye on that. Just to finish off that point on the Olive Garden team, the team from Tuscany, they're one of the real sentimental favourites, aren't they? They aren't always in a class-winning position, but the crowd support for that car, that team, they are just so well liked, and they've supported the American Le Mans Series for many, many years now. Corvette team anxiously watching on as Johnny O continues to chase Brabs. The GTS class is a very diverse one, and stay with us here on Speed. We're in for a good one. Plenty happening here at Road America. Hour 2 highlights. Kelly Collins downshifted 2 gears in turn 14 and ended up in the sand trap, and that was costly. That brought out a full course caution. 38 had a driver change. The ADT champion Audi boys swap positions, and this was a slick stop just like their earlier one, and they have been in the lead ever since. JJ Lato needed some assistance to get around the Intersport 675, but they still beat the 1 car out. The 23 car, well, the day was going very smoothly. Sasha Masson took over from Lucas Luer. Meanwhile, GTS at the restart, David Brabham took over the lead in the Pro Drive Ferrari. Sasha Masson ran into trouble. He came into the pits but continued to drive, and Johnny Molam in the Peterson White Lightning Porsche took over the GT class lead, and we have had a thrilling battle all day long in the GT class. GTS, it is Brabham versus O'Connell, Ferrari versus Corvette, and that battle to this moment is still raging. Well, at the top of the show, we told you about the Porsche keys to the race. How are they looking, Bill?
Well, so far, so good for Champion. They made 2 stops, the second of which wasn't really necessary at the time, but they decided to take advantage of the yellow flag situation, do their driver change then. 675 durability, boy, it has been brutal. Other than the 20 car, and I'm afraid I don't want to jinx them, the 675 field has just been decimated today. GTS, the battle is furious right now. Johnny O'Connell almost looks like he's biding his time right now. They want to keep this thing going. And finally, car number 24, right after they had taken the lead from the Sasha Massa and Lucas Luer, they broke immediately. Bergmeister now is 19 laps back from the leader, but is still running.
And it was a little bit, I feel for them. Their confidence was growing, but it's been dented today, that's for sure. Let's have a look at the class leaderboard as we go to a brief break. It is Leto leading 900s, Wallace in the 675s, Brabham and Molam lead GTS and GT. The fans really make a weekend of it here at Road America. They camp out. Unfortunately, this weekend, the weather has been on our side, much to the relief of the promoters here at Road America, and it has been a wonderful time. We always enjoy our trip up here to Wisconsin and the Elkhart Lake region. Well, talk about an on-fight track. It is on, boots and all, between Brabham and O'Connell, and whilst we were in the break, O'Connell got as close as he's ever been to David Brabham coming down into Canada Corner. Check out the speeds here. The Porsche Digital Pilot. You're looking at David Brabham in the ProDrive Ferrari 550. You ride with Johnny O.
Oh, boy. Come on, Johnny. Stick it up there.
Oh, almost contact with Brabham.
I thought he was going to try and put up side to force David on the outside, but the last moment he decided not to risk it.
Brabham gets by the PK Sport Porsche, and that gives him a little buffer momentarily.
Incredible. Down through the Kettle Valley area. Last 2 laps, just look at these speeds. So close. Both these guys will just be having a ball right now. This is good fun.
And we should add that they are average lap speeds around this 4-mile circuit, this magnificent 4-mile circuit. Incredible advances in the aero package on these Corvettes. They are good, strong, performing cars, and David Brabham certainly knows that now because all he sees is a yellow rear-view mirror.
Many years ago, when I was coming here for my first ever race, a driver named Tony DiLorenzo told me it would be like racing in a park, and that's exactly what it's like. You see the grass, it's just groomed immaculate, right to the edge of the track, and all the trees are carefully behind the barriers, but such a beautiful spot.
The wins, as far as GTS category is concerned this year, is all yellow. 3 wins to Fellows and O'Connell, 2 wins to Collins and Gavin, no wins to the boys in red. Could this be their first in 2003? Last week they came so close with Peter Cox chasing down Johnny O'Connell. Now it's the opposite. Johnny's doing the chasing, and you can see at the top left of your screen, less than 50 minutes left to run here at Road America.
Yeah, it's a tremendously exciting finish at Mosport. Peter Cox, I thought, drove with complete professional attitude. There were a couple of times when he may have been able to bump the Corvette and get away with it, but didn't do it at all. There wasn't a mark on either car at the end of it. Just give the ultimate respect for that kind of driving.
Just to give you a quick rundown, top 10 as we see our GT class leader at the top of that train there. That's Johnny Molam in the Peterson White Lightning car. Doing it comfortably. Sasha Masson, even though the gearbox problems, because he had so much of a margin, Masson still sits second. And third is Spencer Pumpelly, who is now just 37 seconds behind Sasha Masson and is starting to put pressure on. The 0 car's on pit road here. Team Olive Garden. Time for Mimo Schiatarella to have his turn. Andrew.
Yes, the Olive Garden car is here now. They are taking their fuel, and Mimo Schiatarella has just got out of the car, and Aspetti is on board. They're just tightening the belts, and this looks as if it's completely routine. And yes, these Olive Garden people, they deserve a very big pat on the back.
Everything under control there.
I think this is the team that wins the greatest number of smiles per mile.
Yeah, sure.
They all enjoy this. And I believe Olive Garden now are up to something in excess of 12,000 families having been fed with their participation in this Racing for Hunger plan. Wonderful thing for them.
And if you're new to that, the initiative there, Olive Garden help out with families that do it a little tough, and they go to the local areas where we race and help out with some meals for some unfortunate families around North America.
They also quite frequently feed unfortunate announcers who look famished and happen to be walking up and down pit lane.
So they're done, they're released, and they are back out. Sitting second overall and second in 900 is Olivier Beretta for JML Panos, and that's a marvelous effort. Perhaps podiums back-to-back, despite that crash last weekend at Mosport. So they're enjoying themselves. Let's bring you a nice shot here, the foot box with Emanuele Naspetti, hard at work.
Now just watch that clutch pedal. See? Never moving. This is the sequential box. Now what some drivers do is use it on downshift. Let's just watch and see what he's going to do. Yep. Boy, it sounded like a lot of RPM in the downshift too. Got some nice clean shoes going there. What a sound. See, now that's something that, if you listen closely, listen to the RPM on the upshift and then compare it with how high it goes on the downshift. This is the carousel he'll be feathering for a moment. Here he goes flat. Straight. Listen to the downshift RPM. Sounds like he's going higher on the downshifts. It is. That's very, very hard on a motor. The upshifting will be, it's a lot easier, but if you're dragging an engine up by downshifting, putting the clutch into it, very tough on an engine.
Now, is that something that will get better as Naspetti, who is a very accomplished driver, as he gets into his rhythm? Because that was his out lap. So, I mean, yeah, heart rate's up, you know, adrenaline's pumping, and you take a couple of laps to settle down into your rhythm.
I think it's a tendency that a lot of drivers have that you almost instinctively want to start moving that gearbox as soon as you're under braking. It's something that you have to train yourself not to do. Use the brakes to slow the car down, not the gearbox.
The man who just stepped from the car, Mimo Schiattarella, is with our Andrew Marriott.
Yeah, Mimo's here. He's just taking on some water. Hot work out there, Mimo.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Very hard. With our car, we're sliding around too much, and it is very difficult to keep the car in the circuit, especially in the 3 fast corner. It was really hard, but I'm happy because I think we are pushing very hard, as always. But I think we can do more. We can do more than this. If the other guy will catch up, it will be normal.
And a special word for your mechanics who have worked so hard over these last 10 days.
Yeah, because I had a crash in Moscow, which was big damage on the car. But then they really do a fantastic job. And now we are here, we're running good. The car is still in the circuit. I hope we finish on the podium.
Yeah, the best of luck to you.
Nice guy too, Mimo Schiattarella, former F1. He had some kart experience as well. He's a full-time sports car racer now, though. Stay with us. We've got lots more coming up. Back at Road America, and just a reminder, if you haven't heard about this, where have you been? Wind Tunnel is now 4 nights a week live here on Speed with Dave Despain, 9 p.m. Eastern. You can give him a call, you can tell him what's on your mind, and Dave covers the entire world of motorsport. Wind Tunnels, Monday through Thursday now, 4 nights a week. And it's been very popular, and it's been well received, the increase in shows per night. 80 car is on pit road as we ride with our overall race leader. And Martin, this is interesting.
Yeah, both ProDrive cars here together. They need to stop for fuel, they're pretty certain, so they're coming in now. And there's going to be a left front only change on the 88 and I think on the number 80 car as well. That's the hardest working tyre in show business around here. Conversely for Corvette, they think they may not make it as well, but they're going for the crapsuit. And see if they can make it rather than take the penalty now by coming in and being sure they can go the distance. So ProDrive is belt and braces, Corvette, they're behind, they've got to gamble.
Wow, that is a big gamble with this much time left, so I don't know.
See, this was the lead car in GTS. Now Johnny O'Connell and his Corvette lead. There was a driver change here, incidentally, as well. Brabham stepped from the car. Jan Magnussen, the Dane, is now behind the wheel. And we ride now with our new GTS class leader, Johnny O'Connell. Let's have a listen. Brian Till.
10 car is in. Beretta will get out, and David Salings will get back in. Beretta has done a fantastic job in his stint. He was able to get back out in front of the leader, the 38 Audi, the last time back. That got their lap back. If they can do this next round of pit stops the same, they should still be several hundred yards in front of the 38 car when they go out. Then they will need a yellow to get that 3.9 miles worth of racetrack back. But there's not a more hungry driver out there than David Salins, who's getting in this Panos. What a drive they are putting in today.
Did you see Beretta give the Michelin tyre technician the thumbs up?
Yeah,
so
he
they're
did.
good. They're fine. This car now moves up to second overall. Andy Wallace, who took over from Chris Dyson earlier. It's been a mixed bag today for the Dyson team. Earlier, after getting the lead, Butch Leitzinger was taken out by David Salins in pretty spectacular style. This car, if you've just joined us here at Road America, has come from the back of the grid. It did not start earlier, and Chris Dyson did a marvelous job in his opening stint. And now Salins leaves pit lane. These two guys with Formula One experience. Salins was the Minardi test driver last year, and of course Minardi F3000 driver. And Olivier Beretta still, I mean, it just goes to show you how highly regarded Olivier Beretta is. They don't let you near a Formula One car. Very few people get to drive one. Olivier still tests the Williams, both the FW24 and FW25 for Michelin on a regular basis. Two slick drivers in the Panos. Yes, it is an aging car, but those two guys show just what it can do. We showed the 20 car just a moment ago, and that is the lead car of 675. Here's second in this class, Jason Workman and James Gouet, and they are a long way down. As Bill mentioned quite rightly earlier, the 675 field has just been decimated today. They have gone to pieces, unfortunately, because there's nothing better than a good 675 class battle. Our leader is in, that's Andy Wallace. Fuel, there will not be a driver change here. Tell us more, Brian.
Well, you're exactly right, Lee. They're going to leave Andy Wallace in the car, fuel only. They've done a great job in this car. Chris Dyson last night said it's great to just be able to go pound around in it. Looks like they've got a chance they could actually win this thing overall if the 38 car had a problem, and they've run fast all day long.
Fuel being counted down. They know exactly how much they need.
All right, reset your fuel. 39 minutes remaining. 39 minutes remaining.
And I think the biggest question they had right there was that starter nater going to work again? So every time these cars fire up, it's a huge wave of relief with everybody. Boy, you see the Yost car dashing up there. Now, amazingly, that Yost car now is back up to third in the LM900 class, even though it's about 1 million miles. Wow. There was a slide going through the kink at 150.
David Salins brings the JML Panos back up to speed and is not messing around. Take a look at the 18 again. Mentioned Jason Workman, and this is James Gouet. Currently, these guys are second in class, but they're well back. Let's take a moment now to meet this young man from Georgia.
My name's James Gouet. I currently live in Athens, Georgia. I'm a full-time student at the University of Georgia studying economics and Italian. I also enjoy playing tennis, soccer, any kind of sports, really.
You rejoin us here at Road America, and beautiful images coming high above the Porsche aerial cam in our chopper above this 4-mile circuit. And JJ Lehto, the Finn, out in front by a mile and doing it comfortably, and reflections of Road Atlanta here. The two highlights for the ADT champion team this year, their first ever victory in the prototype class at Road Atlanta earlier this year, and their pole at Mosport. The two highlights for them this year. They're about to get another one if they can hang in there for just over half an hour.
Well, the luxury of having a lead like that, JJ Lehto is just running beautifully consistent laps right now. About 6 seconds slower than he qualified, so he is just going quickly enough to stay in a nice rhythm, and yet trying not to stress the car at all.
From our overall leader, let's take a look at our GT class leader. And it is the Peterson White Lightning car. Johnny Molam aboard. Craig Stanton did the opening stint. And Molam from the UK on board right now. And boy, will this team celebrate hard and heavy if they can get the win. Johnny Molam has experienced a number of seconds in his career, including at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, but a win here would be a highlight for sure. Martin?
Well, fuel strategy might make that little plan come undone. The Peterson team think they will almost certainly, barring a yellow, need a 15 or so second splash and dash towards the end of the race. However, the number 23 car, don't forget Sasha Masson, only with fifth gear, just 3 or 4 seconds a lap slower than his normal race pace. They've told him to get on with it and get to the end. The 23 car does not need fuel. Mike Evans at Alex J Racing says, we could still win this thing. Now that would be freaky. Down on pit road, the number 4 car, looks like Ollie and Kelly Collins have lucked out on their gamble. They have been forced into the fuel, and I guess that means we'll see the 3 car fairly soon as well.
Well, one more thing developing too, Martin. The Sasha Masson car, he is doing quite a remarkable job, but the Pompelli Porsche, the number 33 Porsche, has now closed to within 5.5 seconds, so he is just off the tail. Every time he comes out of corners like this, oh man, this is so frustrating, because the car just feels like it is a dog. It just will not come out of the corner with any sort of power. Sasha is doing his best, trying to make that car flow using every inch of road so he doesn't have to slow down any more than necessary. But listen to it come off this next corner, one of a very slow corner. Listen how slowly it accelerates. See, actually, acceleration picks up dramatically, even though he's going a lot faster. The horsepower, this is an engine that's designed to be run at much higher RPM. It's got very little low-end torque or horsepower, so doesn't pull out of those corners. This next one is going to hurt big time, too, because he's not only at a slow corner, but he's going to be going uphill, so.
It's like trying to chew with a mouthful of toffee, isn't it?
Yeah, I've watched you do that. I know how hard it is.
We go back to the Zip Racing car, and look at this. There is Sasha Masson limping around, and Spencer Pumpelli, Steve Ivankovic. Whoa, what have we got going on here? One of the Vipers off, one of the Car Sport America machines. And I think that is the 17 in trouble and spreading some gravel around the circuit. It is. It's been a pretty eventful day for Tom Weikart's car. Here is the end of this incident. Boy, he has done well to get out of that.
Man, I'll say, that front splitter, that big carbon fiber shelf across the front of the car, it just scoops up all that stuff.
That's a pretty remarkable effort to get out. And look at this, Spencer Pumpelli has got by the 23.
What an amazing job by Sasha, though, driving at 1 gear.
Well, the 33 guys, the Hazardous Sports Zip Racing Porsche will be beside themselves. Their best result this season has been 5th, and that was last weekend at Mosport. Stunning stuff. Let's have a look at how Spencer Pumpelly executed this pass on Sasha Masson.
Yeah, and I expect it's going to be pure acceleration coming up this hill. And watch to your right. That's what a few more gears will do. Identical motors, or perhaps Sasha's motor is even better, but if you can't get it down into a low enough RPM, it's like taking your street car, trying to start off a stop sign in 4th gear.
Johnny O'Connell's in. Martin.
Yeah, 3-car on pit roads. They are fueling, and it looks as though they're readying tyres, as you would expect. Ron Fellows is standing by just in case. Looks like Johnny O may hang on, though, in the cockpit.
And we will keep you up to date with this thrilling GTS battle.
Yeah, he is looking pretty comfortable, Martin. I don't think Johnny's planning on getting out at all. He's going to refire right now and leave. Look at the drink tube. Just, yeah, it's right here. A little bit of water just coming out there. So
Johnny taking on as many fluids as he can. This is hard work here at Road America.
Yeah, I circled earlier that the pedal temperature in that car. Mimo Scanarella was talking about how hot the Olive Garden Ferrari was. He saw like 125 to 130 degree footwell temperature in these cars. So think about wearing your ski suit. You're all bundled up and having to work very hard.
Final stop for our overall leader. JJ Leto brings the ADT champion Audi in. And ever since that initial stop when the Yost Audi had problems, it has been a one-sided affair for the team from Florida.
Well, perfect placement. JJ came to a stop right on the money.
He's dropped his drink bottle. They threw his drink bottle in and it's dropped.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to create any sort of a problem for him.
Brian.
Well, he's looking over there on the side. One of the crew members is looking in. They cannot work on the car while they're putting fuel in. Now he reaches in to get the drink bottle. He's got it. The Michelin man gave him the thumbs up on all 4 tires. He's down and away. The only thing between him and victory is about 25 more minutes.
And a little bit of a thirst. Nice stop by JJ and the ADT champion crew. They just did that beautifully. One of the key things, to try and just maintain your composure, just be as calm as possible, and yet you want to try and get him out as quickly as possible. Okay, we've only got a little bit more to go. Just go out and do your thing.
No pressure for the overall win. Leto is ahead, champion, dominating the race overall and the 900 category. Here's the first time we've seen the 66 machine, the New Century Mortgage Racers Group Porsche.
Yep.
Court Wagner and Kevin Buckler. And at the moment, Court sits 3rd in GT. Running nicely there. He's managed to get by Sasha Masson. So poor old Sasha being stuck in 5th gear. He is now paying the price.
Well, Court had the very unfortunate crash last week at Mosport. I talked to Kevin about it. He said, you know, one of those things that Court's a pro driver. Here's the pass. I think we're on board with Sasha right there, coming off another one of those slow corners. And just watch, there we go. Look at the difference in acceleration. Boy, I feel for you, Sasha. That's just so frustrating.
That was the sister car that went by as well, the 24 car, York Bergmeister and Timo Bernard. They have had their troubles today, so it has not been an ideal day for Alex Job Racing. And that was our Porsche keys to the race at Trois Rivières. Can Job be beaten? Well, today they are being beaten, but not really in a fair head-to-head fight. But that's racing, isn't it? Fortune swings both ways, and it's been a pretty interesting day in GT land. We've got plenty more coming up. The final 25 minutes live here on Speed. The view high above Road America. The action continues. Plenty of information about two wheels every Tuesday with Greg White, your host of Two Wheel Tuesday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, each and every week right here on Speed. Want to bring you up to date with the class leaderboard. We're going to go to a quick break, but we'll be back. There's plenty more still to come. And O'Connell has a very slight lead. You're back with us live here at Road America for the Road America 500, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, round 6 of the American Le Mans Series. Lee Diffie with Bill Adam down in the pits, Brian Till, Martin Haven and Andrew Marriott. We are in the final stages of this race within about the last 15 to 20 minutes. And it has been ADT champion Audi's day. Marvelous stuff from Johnny Herbert, JJ Leto. They have played in the sun and played perfectly. Meanwhile, while it's a cruisy day for them, there are scraps going on everywhere. Not necessarily in all 4 classes, particularly 2. The GTS and especially the GT battle is thrilling today here at Road America. And you're watching JJ Leto through the trees, plenty of them here at Road America. Let's get to this GT battle because Spencer Pumpelly is handling all the pressure coming in the form of Court Wagner. There he is in the New Century Mortgage, the blue machine for the Racers Group. They qualified 9th, Court Wagner that is, and they are now sitting 3rd in class, challenging Spencer for 2nd. And this has been a strong run. Court was the 1999 American Le Mans Series GT champion. And he is putting plenty of pressure on Pumpelly in that Zip Porsche right now. Martin, this is a great battle.
A great battle and a great change in fortunes as well. The Racers Group has had nothing but bad luck the last 2 race weekends. And in fact, that continued in the first stint. Kevin Butler was just telling me a while ago he thought he'd lost the ability to make the car handle properly. Turns out they got the left rear rim off and it had a hairline crack around every single spoke. It was probably not that far from separating entirely. So they are very pleased still to be in the race with an undamaged car. Even more pleased that they seem to have got the monkey off their back and have got some good luck at last.
Yeah, it's been an up and down season for them, hasn't it, Bill? Just the one podium, that was at Road Atlanta, as you can see on your screen right now. It's been a little bit hit and miss, but they're running strong now.
It has been really frustrating. Last year they had the dream season with wins at Le Mans, at Daytona, and just they couldn't seem to do anything wrong. And that's the kind of thing that you go to your sponsor, you go to Monster Cable or New Century and say, hey, here's what I've done. Then you come to a season like this and everything goes wrong. You start getting all of these questions put to you, and it's very, very difficult for a team. Kevin is a young man who has really tried to come up from the basic roots to form a very, very good racing operation. It is so difficult to do, and he's trying to juggle so many things, from hunting sponsors to driving himself, and it's a massive job.
Well, guys, Court knows a lot about the fuel economy deal here, having been in the series for the last 5 years, but still the Racers Group are not quite sure whether they can go all the distance on fuel. As documented earlier, the 23 car in 4th place, they're, I think, about the only people that are certain they can go the distance without a splash.
See Frank Bieler there whipping around the outside of the 2 GT cars whilst we're away. There was a change of position there. Bieler now has worked his way back up to 3rd in the 900 class ahead of Panoz's Gunnar Jeanette. So the German continuing not to give up, continuing the fight. They are the points leaders, and they, I mean, Bieler and Werner. But some very valuable points today. And look at this, our GT class leader in pit lane. Johnny Molan bringing the Peterson White Lightning Porsche in, and Andrew Marriott is there at that pit box.
Yes, I am, and they're going to put 2 fresh tyres on. Apparently they've picked up a vibration, and Johnny's not happy about that, so they're putting 2 fresh, no, they're putting all 4 tyres on, and a splash and dash. They expected this stop to last about 45 seconds with the splash and dash. Now it'll last a little longer. Now, it's been 2 years since this team have won an ALMS race. That was at Laguna Seca with Johnny Molan and David Murray driving, so this will be a big moment for them, of course. They had that victory in Le Mans with the Alex Job people. They have this 1-lap lead. It's been a tremendous run, and coming back after sitting out 2 races. So Johnny Molan hasn't had a victory, in fact, for the last 2 years. He's had all those string of second places, including 2nd overall at Daytona, of course, when he was in a Ferrari. So this could be a very big day for him.
And Johnny's one of those interesting guys, isn't he, where he has had that experience of the Ferrari and the Porsche.
That's true, he does. Good stop. All the crew are clear. That was excellent. It was so much fun when I spoke to Alex Job over at Le Mans and said, how is this to have one of your chief competitors here and you're working together? How many secrets do you show? And he kind of smiled coyly and says, not all of them.
Yeah. And this will be the first time this year, so long as things remain as is, that there will not be an Alex Job car on the podium. At least one of the 2 have finished on the podium in every single race this year.
Boy, that's about unthinkable, isn't it? Amazing.
Yeah.
What a record that team has. Court Wagner doing a good job here, and I think he's maybe just trying to occupy the mirrors right now, the 33 car. And he wants to have that big monster cable. And he ducks in the pits. What a surprise that is.
Late charge there by Spencer Pumpelly, and just to further that stat on Alex Job Racing, 371 days, so more than a year since they were last not on the podium in GT.
Amazing.
What a run for this team. Sensational stuff.
What I think that they should be going on right here is the racers group will probably monitor how long this car is stopped for, trying to figure out exactly how much fuel they will have put in this car. Then think, all right, do we have time to maybe stop ours, put a little less fuel in? And every gallon less, you're saving just a few extra seconds. So maybe they can do that. Okay, let's take a watch.
This is the Zip Racing Porsche Hazardous Sports sponsorship. Andrew.
Yes, this stop looks as if it's a flash and dash, no problem at all here. And yeah, the Hazardous car really has done a great job here. I think it's the best run they've ever had. And the Pillbeam comes in for a stop and go right in front of them, but they managed to accelerate out, no problem. And the Pillbeam's back on the track as well.
Pretty interesting trio in this team. Steve Ivankovic, the main man. At one stage in his life, earlier in the in college days, he was a top 200 in the world ranked doubles tennis player. As we look at the Racers Group Porsche, and Court Wagner, Kevin Buckler will be thrilled with this. This was the medicine that this sick car and team needed. Certainly was.
I can foresee a lot of Adobe Road being consumed tonight.
It's not over yet, but we certainly are edging towards the checkered flag. 12.5 minutes to go here at Road America. And there has been some thrilling races in the 4 classes. For 675, it's been a pretty eventful day for those guys. And up in the top of the field in 900 land, it's been a wonderful day for Champion. But it's been a tough scrap in GT land. There's only 4.5 seconds between O'Connell and Magnussen. This is the GT leaderboard. We'll be back. You're with us back at Road America. ASA coming up next, and then later tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, the Champ Car World Series continues. This stop, Montreal. Great track, great event, and amazing crowd support up there. Hopefully it will be a good one, and hopefully you can stay with us. 9 p.m. tonight, the Champ Car World Series from Montreal. Trouble for the Risi car here for Anthony Lazzaro and Ralph Kelleners. Stationary in pit lane. And what was a promising start, it's certainly not going to finish that way. To give you a rundown, JJ Lehto continues to lead, and he has a 1-lap margin over Andy Wallace, who is the lead 675 car. Third overall is David Salins in the Panos. O'Connell leads GTS, but he's got a 4.6 second lead over Jan Magnussen, and at one stage that was at 10 seconds. And Magnussen is catching and hounding Johnny O'Connell. That's for 4th overall, and the lead of GTS. Peter Cox is 5th behind his team car. Nespetti is 4th in GTS, 7th overall. Gavin is 8th. Beeler is 9th. And Gunnar Jeanette is 10th.
Well, I just think back to a week ago. Just remember how close those final 2 laps were. Johnny O'Connell fighting off the Ferrari. There he is. There he's going by in the carousel. And just a short ways behind him. Well, that's JJ immediately behind, of course. They'll go by in a second. Now, he should almost have a view of the red dot appearing back in the mirrors. Right there.
Jan Magnussen, hot in pursuit. And this is probably the most productive and successful run we've seen from the longtime teammates and co-drivers David Brabham, Jan Magnussen in this Ferrari. It's fair to say they've taken a while to settle into this new machine, but now they're hitting their straps.
Oh, they're great. I mean, it's so good to see these fellows team together because they were always one of my favorite pairings when they drove the Panos Roadster. It's so much fun. Magnussen blessed with both of them. I shouldn't single out Jan because they're both just extremely talented athletes. And now Jan clearly knows that that Corvette is just, well, let's see here, 2.6 seconds ahead, so he has cut another 2 seconds out of it.
We've got a race on our hands for GTS, and it's the same as last time, but a different car, different driver. It's the 80 car now chasing Johnny O'Connell. Johnny will be getting sick of this. I said to him last weekend, he came into the studios at Speed to do a Speed World Challenge race, and I said, what was that last lap like? How, I mean, were you just beside yourself? He said, no, I was pretty calm. I was getting information. He said it was fun, but it was a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, this is about the point where you realize that you, in fact, can hold your breath for 2 minutes and 4.1 seconds.
There is the Jason Workman and James Gouet 675 machine. Penalty for speeding on pit road. So they are a long way back in the order, but still running second in class. Jason Workman now behind the wheel. He's taken back over from James Gouet, son of Mike. Oh, problems here for the 37 field car.
And that's just coming out of Canada corner. May have got on the throttle a tad early.
Currently at fourth in class in 675. They're way down the order in 29th.
Giving it a wiggler to make sure everything's okay.
Been an eventful day for John and Duncan Dayton. Not the day they were hoping for after a very promising start to the weekend. This car has been quick. Now O'Connell is in traffic. He's flashing the lights. He needs to get by and get by quickly. Coming up on one of the races group Porsches.
Boy, and Jan got a great run through traffic there. He will close up right onto Johnny's tail under braking here for Canada corner.
No disrespect to Peter Cox, but Magnussen is far more aggressive. Let's find out more from the Ferrari pit. Here's Martin.
I'm not going to ask you to take your eyes off the screen, David. Do you think Jan's got what it takes?
Yeah, I think so. It's, if we can just get on the straights, we're a little bit quicker. But it's been a fantastic race, this whole race, and obviously we're trying to win our first race. Not many laps to go, and Jan's right behind the Corvette. I mean, you couldn't ask for better racing.
After last weekend's close finish with the Cox and Enger car, the other Corvette team said they wouldn't have been so polite. Do you think Jan is going to knock before he goes in?
Well, I mean, it's our turn to have a bit of a dice for the lead at the end, and I've got full faith in Jan. He'll do a great job. So we'll just have to wait and see. There's nothing I can do. I'm just sitting here like you watching.
There's a little over 2 laps, roughly 2 laps to run. There's 4.5 minutes remaining. Pressure cooker time for Johnny O'Connell again. Meanwhile, back in GT, Molan maintains the lead. Wagner is still second, and Masson is up to third. We hear the 66 car is in. A splash and go for Kurt Wagner.
I think this is a good move. Why not take a chance? All you need is enough for 2 more laps. That is very, very fast. So you get in, throw it out, get right back out. Look at this GTS battle. Magnus now right on the tail of O'Connell.
The Corvette
he's going to do the inside.
Ferrari. He's got him. He's got Johnny O on the inside. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Somehow he missed. Both of the dive planes on the nose of the Ferrari are still in place, but I thought he would at least knock them off. That was incredible. He tried to bait Johnny. Johnny didn't go for it. Now down the inside, Olive Garden.
And Naspetti gives them room. Nice driving, Emanuele.
Classy piece.
So the pressure is relieved a little bit with that close incident. 3.5 minutes to go. Now, can Johnny O do this 2 weeks in a row? A different Ferrari chasing him, but the same team. Pressure stuff for the man from Georgia.
Well, he must think this is like an instant replay in his mirror and go, shot again. And you heard David talk about the strength on the straight, so that's probably the key that Jan is going to shoot for, to get a perfect launch onto one of the straights and use the Ferrari speed advantage.
The last time Brabham and Magnussen won an event, it was for Panos on the streets of Washington, D.C. last year. Can they combine for victory today in GTS? It would be the first time that a car other than a Corvette has won GTS this year. Let's find out from the Corvette camp. Martin.
I'm going to do the bad thing, Ron, and take your eyes off the screen. This is pretty close, eh?
Excuse me while I go on. Yeah, this is another nail biter. You know, this is the way they're going. You know, we did that short fill, kept Johnny in the car. He's doing a great job, but obviously Jan is right on him. It's going to be just like Mosport, I hope.
All right, back on the edge of your seat, Ron. Thanks a lot.
It's less than 2:30 to go. Next time they come around, they should see the white flag for 1 to go. This is it's a repeat of Mosport a week ago, but Magnussen this time, sensational for the GTS category. Ron Fellows was over the moon last weekend after their victory. I said, good coverage in the local press. He said, yeah, there wasn't too much about those prototypes. He said it was all about us.
Yeah, I'll bet it was too. He is a genuine hero up around there. Now look at Magnussen. This is the end of the back straight. Right close up on the tail. This is where he tried it last lap, going up this hill. He ducked to the inside, right at the top, right here. And he's going to try it. No, he didn't.
Showing Johnny O the front of that Ferrari 550.
Now, is he maybe doing that for a purpose, trying to bait Johnny into going in early and blocking him? That might be something he's trying to do that twice in a row to try and create a move by the Corvette.
Nearing the end of this one, the Road America 500. Your overall race leader is JJ Lehto and has it in the bag. He will win. The car approaching these two is second overall, and the leader of 675, that is Andy Wallace and Chris Dyson, coming up in the background. No pressure on him. David Salins is about 17, 18 seconds behind, so no immediate pressure.
Look at this.
Magnussen is building for a move at Canada Corner.
Magnussen carried phenomenal speed through that kink right there. I didn't know he's going to be able to keep all 4 tires on the pavement. And he's got number 20 behind him too. So that the headlights of the Dyson car may distract Magnussen just a tiny bit.
The prototype, the smaller prototype, should whip by on the main straight. Here is JJ Lehto receiving the white flag. 1 to go in the Road America 500, and it will be 2 victories for ADT champion Audi.
Keep it going, JJ.
Back on board with Johnny O'Connell. And there again is Andy Wallace looking for a way by.
And that shows you the speed of these GTS cars, where the 675 cannot out-accelerate the...
Position battle in front of you there. Position battle.
You're listening to the radio.
He's got him. He's got him.
Magnussen, can he hold it? He does. Runs wide on turn 1, but he gets through. So a change of lead in GTS. Now can O'Connell respond?
Well, he's only got a shot down, basically down the end. Look at Magnussen, got a little bit wide there. This should give Johnny an edge off this corner. All right, Johnny may have a chance there at the bottom of the straight. Jan will know it. Jan is going to try and go in as deep as he possibly can. Oh, boy.
This is important stuff for Ferrari, for ProDrive, for Frederick Dorr, for the Care Racing Group. Can Johnny O'Connell respond on Jan Magnussen? The prototypes are behind, but they know that this is a battle for class, win, and lead at the moment. Up to where Magnussen showed his nose twice. O'Connell, there's not even a car length in it.
Just amazing. They'll go through this very quick right, then they got a left leading into the carousel. One of the Corvette strengths has been going down the carousel all weekend long. Let's see if he can maybe get close enough to get a shot to the king. Trying a little baiting move right there. He went to the inside to try and force it on him. Here's the carousel. They're coming into it. They're just briefly off the throttle for a second. Now the Corvette should start closing a little bit as they go down through here.
Away from the track, Johnny O'Connell is a big martial arts man. It's time to apply the snap kick now, Johnny. You've got to go for it if you're going to get by Jan Magnussen. Time is running out. There is no more laps left. There's half a lap left to run, not even that, as they come down through Kettle Bottom towards Canada Corner. I don't think Johnny O's close enough.
I don't think so either, and I don't think Johnny would risk it either. He's not going to try taking that Ferrari out. He's not that sort of driver who will get into contact.
The golden zone for Corvette is about to be broken, and JJ Lehto and ADT champion Audi, they win for the second time in 2003. They take the fight back to Yost here at Road America.
Fantastic job.
Herbert and Lehto victorious, and so too Brabham and Magnussen. Ferrari get the victory, the first one in 2003. The battle is back on.
What a great job. Tremendous job by ProDrive. They fought all day long.
If they did not finish ahead of that Corvette, the championship was all over for Ferrari. It's still going to be a tough fight, but great stuff for Jan Magnussen, David Brabham. What about Johnny Molan, Michael Peterson, the team owner, and Craig Stanton, who had that marvelous opening stint? These guys won Le Mans in that combination with Alex Job Racing. They are now going to win the GT class in the Road America 500. We haven't seen them for a couple of events. They've returned victorious. So too has champion Lehto, the class winner there. Well done to Dyson. They take out 675. That helps Chris. Speed Channel's coverage of the Road America 500 is brought to you by Porsche for the pure sport of driving. And there's been some spectacular driving here today at Road America. Beautiful day weather-wise. We take a look at the top 6, and great day for the champion boys. Successful too for Dyson Racing. and you can see the positions there for yourself. But let's hear from our race winner. Here's Brian.
JJ, we spoke to Johnny Herbert about the frustration before the weekend. It's all gone now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all gone. I mean, finally it's paying back a little bit, and it's really, Johnny did a good job in the first stint, and he just left me so easy, going to the end, because I knew that all the cars are so far behind, and team was just pushing a little bit to get one lap on the others, and I just did it, and I just really cruised around. It was just nice to see the audience everywhere enjoying today.
Fantastic job. Let's go down to Martin, who has another winner with him.
Jan Magnussen, JJ later just say he cruised around the last few hours, so I guess you didn't.
No, that was pushing 110% from when I got in the car at the end till the last lap when we passed the Corvette. Absolutely mega.
A great move from Jan Magnussen, and David Brabham first on the scene to congratulate him.
Marvellous scenes. And we mentioned earlier just how tired and worn out that British Pro Drive crew are. They've been on the road for many, many weeks. Well, that will give them a spring in their step. Brian.
Here with the 675 winners, Chris Dyson and Andy Wallace. I don't know who wants to talk to me because both of you guys did a great job.
Well, I mean, Chris started the race, did a fantastic job. We had a problem at the start. He got us all the way back up to something like 4th position, even 3rd position. Fantastic job. I got in the car didn't miss a beat. The crew did a fantastic job. We're so happy to be here. It's wonderful.
And a very interested spectator, Rob Dyson, I bet you would like to be in that car.
I would have, no doubt about it. With the surgery, I haven't been able to. The one sad thing about it is that we weren't up front. We lost a lap because the car, again, we had a little electrical glitch. If we hadn't done that, we lost a full lap on that. Who knows how the story would have unfolded in that event, but great result. Good for the points battle. Chris and Andy did an absolutely terrific job.
You heard him. Who knows, guys? Maybe one time it'll all run clean to the end.
And his son right there, who gets a hug, is heading towards a championship. Isn't that terrific? Andrew Marriott.
Yes, I've got Johnny Molam here. He's the last guy to actually finish, but he's won the GT, his first victory in 2 years. He's still taking off that crash helmet, and he looks pretty cool after all that. He drove about an hour and 3/4. Johnny, elated?
Yeah, I'm really pleased for everyone, for the whole team. They've worked so hard. We were a little bit fortunate, to be honest. Johnny here didn't take me off, which I'm eternally grateful for. And I'm just so pleased with the Peterson and the White Lightning crew. They did a superb job preparing the car. We got a little bit lucky, but we were second from pretty early on. Craig did a fantastic job. Just really nice to get a win finally.
Well done. All those second places finally is going to Victory Circle.
What a year for Peterson White Lightning. Let's take a look at the 900 points after round 6 of the 2003 season, and the margin comes to 11. It is reducing. 675, Chris Dyson continues to lead the way, and commandingly 23 points the buffer now. He's heading towards a championship, that's for sure. GTS, the battle is not over, although it is tight, that's for sure. The Corvette boys still on top, but Ferrari just showing what they can do. The GT points look like this. 22 points the margin between the teammates, and Kurt Wagner coming on strong in 5th. What a result today there for the Racers Group. 2nd in class. Awesome stuff. Here's GTS now. 28 points the difference between the teammates there, and Brabham running in 5th. 55 points behind Johnny O'Connell. Bill Adam, what a day at Road America.
Couldn't be better. This for a long time has been my favorite track in America, and given this competition, so good.
The next race on speed is the Grand Prix Americas live. You can get us there on the 27th of September. The next round of the American Le Mans Series is at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca in 2 weeks' time. That's on NBC Sport. You can see that. Hopefully you will. On behalf of the entire team here at Speed, thanks for joining us for the Road America 500.